try this again. Yeah, I don't know what the problem's been though, because I've been having a lot of internet issues in general lately.
Oh.
There was some work being done in my area, and I feel like the company, the internet company, fucked something up when they were.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Because yeah, before that, I like almost never had any problems. Almost never had any issues, and then all of a sudden, in the last like 3 weeks,
Oh wow.
it's just like, I mean, and it's not even consistently, because like anything I like stream in terms of like watching stuff, any streaming services, that those all work fine. Like nothing else seems to have an issue, with the exception of like trying to myself stream, like uploading. That's the only thing that's had like an issue.
Oh. That's very strange.
We'll see. If it cuts out again, I'll go and I'll double check that my connection is, because I did plug. Oh, there's another skeleton. I plugged everything in so it would be a wired setup, and that seemed to work better than trying to do it off of Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
I guess I'll have to double.
Yeah, next to no issues if you have wired.
Which I'm wondering if maybe, because I moved my system to a different room to like just to use it, and then I moved it back just now, so I'm wondering if it registered the wired connection or if it's still like trying to do Wi-Fi right now. In fact, let me just look at the setting, just so because I guess I'd rather just know now. Let's see. What are you on? What are you on? Connection. Okay. It is actually totally. Yeah, it is. It is on the. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, that may have broken our thing there, but you know what? I'll take that, and hopefully, we don't have any issues, any more issues. Let's see. Bum, bum, ba-na, ba-na, there we go. All right. All right. Now we should be good. Now we shouldn't have any problems. Hopefully, anyway. Get that wired connection up in here. Come here, Link. Come here, buddy. Link. Hi. Crazy dog. Come here. Yeah. Okay. Are we back? Can you hear me?
Hey.
All right, cool. Okay. So I did it is now on wired. It was totally on wireless before, I was right. So now we should not have any issues.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
At least hopefully. But no, man, what have you been up to? I know you've been playing something. I know you Metal Hellsinger. I know I saw some of that. How is that game going? I know I saw like a little bit of the beginning, but it looks fucking cool. Oh no, another player guy. Oh, okay. All right. Damn. right as we're getting into it. Of course that happens. Of course. Well, let's see. Well, we're getting in. All right. Obviously, someone didn't want to get to be who they wanted. I know, right? Seriously. Okay.
Hello.
Is it work? Please, can I have some more?
I mean,
I think
I just want to play a game.
Right. All right. I think we're good. Okay. So, Metal Hellsinger. Yeah. Yeah. How's that going?
Yeah, it's not bad. I was a bit annoyed. I was on the last level, about halfway through it, and the game kicked me out.
Oh, like
So I
it
haven't
just
finished it
completely
yet.
crashed, or
Oh yeah, it went straight back to desktop. It was not happy. I don't know why.
I guess you rocked too hard.
Yeah, apparently so. Although that last level, I was finding it so hard to keep with beat.
Yeah. Well, I
Don't
mean,
know why.
I think we've established that both you and me, we both have no rhythm, or at least very little. So, I mean, props to you for making it all the way to the end without having that problem up until this.
Yeah, no. Oh god, it's just a great game. It's very hard.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it seems like it, because it looks like Doom, but with a rhythm mechanic, right? I mean, that's kind of what I got from it.
Literally, based in Hell, you've got a few guns you can choose from. You then can do extra things after. So after you complete a Hell level,
Okay.
you can do a Torment, and that gives you like a buff, sort of like boom thing. Then by doing more Hell levels, you then unlock more Torments, which then upgrades those runes, as it were.
Nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's cool, but I just want to go into it like Doom. I just want to run around and problem.
But you have to follow that pattern. Oh, hey, by the way, I know that you know about all of the gnome hate that Alex is always putting out on the channel. We have 2 gnomes to give him today on the stream. Send him home with another 2.
Oh, he's gonna be happy, isn't he?
Like Michael, he's up here today to be on the stream, which he lives in another state, so that only happens here and there. He's had a gnome he's been sitting on for a few months. He's just been waiting to bring.
Amazing. Oh good God! Skeleton came out of nowhere.
I think we decided that because at some point. I would like to, especially after I'd like to. At some point, I want to move into a bit of a bigger place, and my hope is that I will have space to make kind of a studio, just a little recording studio just for streaming, and I want to arrange a bunch of the gnomes that we've gotten for him over the years, like as like a background.
That would be brilliant.
Come check this out.
Don't mark that. That's not interesting. No, stop it. Unmark it. It's just the ground. God damn it, Mia.
Something
No,
here
that's not. That's just the ground too.
Where are you? You're over there. You. Although I need to get some light.
Let's see. Hey, I see one person.
Yeah, I'm just getting rid of my fear.
Get that fire.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought you might find this funny. So me and my wife, we've been watching the like special features for the Lord of the Rings movies, and so Sean Astin, right? He's the actor that played Sam in the movie, and he's American, right? But they very much are doing a British accent, right, in those movies. With kind of the world, the fantasy of that world, and so they it was really funny because they were telling a story in the special features about how the dialect coach had to come up to them because there's a scene where they have to like duck under stuff and Sam yells "Get down," and I mean I'm not the greatest at voices, but for him to go "Get down," something like that, that's my best. But the dialect coach comes up to him and goes, "So that was really good, but it was kind of get down. So let's try it again." And we're both done.
Yeah, those skellies came in hard.
I don't even have a weapon, too. I'm just fist fighting them.
Amazing. Go down swinging.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I think this is a good demon, to be fair.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, this is a very good demon.
Alright, here, I got a crossbow. That's something.
Oi.
Something.
Oh, I've been watching more of the Cyberpunk anime.
Oh yeah? How is that?
It a bit more to happen.
Oh god.
Kind of work.
Oh god.
Like, yeah. Oh no.
Get me in the face.
Yeah. This is a good demon.
Yeah, we're probably not going to make it super far in this one.
No. But the one thing I have to say about it is the animation and the colours they use in it are amazing.
Well, hey, I mean,
really well.
just the visual. If they get that down really well, I mean,
it's like, I can't even think about it. Obviously, got all the colours,
right?
that they're using, and just there was one bit where they're going. You've got like the lights coming over them.
Okay.
But instead of just doing it like a slightly brighter skin tone, they've opted for like going for like different colours. So as the lights were going over, like I think Belle was getting like pink on her face from where the light would be coming through like the car window and stuff. It was amazing. They've done really well.
Cool. Yeah, well, I might check it out. I mean, I am an animation fan, so I mean, even sometimes if like a story isn't the greatest, if the animation itself is still interesting to look at, that can still do a lot for me. So.
Oh yeah, like I say, it's a bit slow at the moment story-wise.
Sure.
It's kind of just I don't know. They kind of like dump some stuff on you, but doesn't really seem like there's been anything towards it. If you know what I mean?
Sounds like the Rings of Power.
The story so far is like it's pretty going through it. It's kind of like a day sort of thing. You know what I mean? So like time changing through time. He's basically like it won't ruin anything, but he kind of like sets up with a crew, and they're kind of like teaching him the ropes. But in one of the first, I think it was the second episode, he kind of like it's almost as if something he couldn't do, but they haven't gone any further onto that, and it's like, but is he going to have to push past that rule not to do it and actually do it? And,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, that already is more than Rings of Power. that is more story than Rings of Power.
But it's definitely worth it, man. Like so far, it's very good.
Well, and if you got a nice TV too, it'll make the colors pop, and that looks like really nice.
I'll try and see if I can find like a video of just like one of the scenes maybe to show like the contrasting on how they've done it, and
Yeah.
I really like it. It looks beautiful to me.
Cool. Yeah, I probably will. I still haven't watched Arcane one, which is on Netflix too. I've been meaning to check that out for a while.
I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I have too. I just have yet to actually get to it. But I am a big animation fan though. In general, have you ever seen Fantastic Planet? You ever heard of that?
It sounds familiar.
It's I believe it was 1976. I think it was 1976. It's a French science fiction film. And it is. I mean, and I say this rarely, but compliments to the French on this one. But but no, it really is. It really is a wild movie. It's so weird, and it's just consistently bizarre and out there. You have this. You have this like race of these big like blue people, and then you have humans who are they're like mice, they're like rats, they're like a pest in this world, and so humans are like tiny compared to these creatures. Although the scale, it makes it seem like these big things are regular sized and people are just little. But it is this, and there is the analogy in there for the Soviet Union's occupation of Czechoslovakia, is some of what the movie's kind of about. But it tells this really genuine sci-fi story, and it makes the aliens truly feel alien. Like I feel like it's not that often you get a science fiction story where I mean, like how much of Star Trek is just like a clearly a human with some shit on their face, Yeah. Like for the aliens to look remarkably and feel remarkably alien, for their societies to operate in a remarkably alien way, a way that you truly cannot go, oh well, there's some elements of human civilization in here. It's just creative. No, like the way they like operate and the way they reproduce and the way that it really does feel alien.
Oh.
And it's like, if you ever wanted to know what taking acid is like without actually having to do it, it's a good movie to watch.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay.
It's definitely one of those. But the thing is as trippy as it is, the narrative is actually really clear and concise the whole time. It's never confusing in terms of what the story is supposed to be. That is always clear. But the visuals themselves often are very like, ooh, wow, who slipped that something in my drink? But
Yeah.
Like Yellow Submarine, for instance, right, is the Yellow Submarine animated movie. That movie barely has a story. That is just crazy visuals from beginning to end, and I love that movie too. But Fantastic Planet really does have a really straightforward narrative. Like, it's almost weird how much sense it makes when you're watching it. You're like, based on how it looks, it shouldn't make as much sense as it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Highly recommend. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I gave it a little bit of a Google, and it looks like it's on Prime at the moment.
Nice, cool.
I'll have to do that when I'm sat around.
Hello, dog. Are you bringing your toy over here?
Bless
Are you
him.
trying to get me to play? We adopted this dog, Link, earlier this year, and because the family that had him, their kids were super allergic to him, and so that's why they had to get rid of him. But he ended up with us, and it worked out pretty well. He's He had a good place to go. But so they sent a lot of stuff with him. He had a lot of things already, and including some like little winter coats for when it gets cold out. And I pulled one out of the closet today because we haven't had him in the winter yet. Like this will be the first winter we've had him for. And he got so excited when I pulled that coat out. Like he was like, "Oh my god, I love my coat. You're gonna put my coat on?" So cute.
Oh, bless him. Oh, are you gonna get you gonna try and get a coat made up that's green with the shield
Oh,
on
I
it?
should. I should.
Oh, I know, right?
I didn't even think about it, but now I am.
I'm sorry that my idea might cost you money. But that would be awesome, just like a nice green one. You got the Aurelian
No,
shield
that's
on the
perfect.
back.
That would
that'd
be so perfect. Because I've got the Wind Waker collar for him already, and then he's got the Master Shield as a little pendant on his collar.
Yeah.
But to have like an actual like green like tunic almost,
Yep.
that would be so
Oh, it'd be
funny.
so cool.
Oh, that'd be so good. You getting it?
This guy is still going strong.
Yeah, this clearly this was the best of the four of us. Fuck it. Watch somebody that knows what they're doing for a little bit.
Yeah. I'd say I might learn something, but I'll forget in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, same. But not yet. So what have I been doing? What have I been watching?
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been. I think I already told you about that game Rollerdrome. I beat that though. I finally beat that. That game got hard as fuck, especially at like those last like a couple of levels. That game got genuinely difficult. But I still highly recommend it. It is incredibly creative. One of my favorite things this year. I have been playing the Last of Us remake that just came out recently.
Oh, yeah.
And a big thing about that too is like a lot of people are like, really, that game's not that old. Why is it getting remade? And I agree with that. It is unnecessary. However, actually playing it, I can't lie. It is so polished. It looks so good that like as unnecessary as it may be, I can't help but still be happy that they did it. It's still.
Oh yeah.
I'm still thrilled that it happened because it is incredibly fun to. And I'm playing it on a 4K TV. And it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And now the first game and the second game essentially look the same, right? And the audio cuts out because it does that.
All hope is lost.
Sony, get that Discord set up. Get your Discord going. Please, Sony, hurry up with the Discord audio integration so that me and Norden don't have to have the chat cut out like that. Sony, if you're listening, if you watch this show, and I know you do, you should get on that. This would be really helpful. And we should be back.
Hello.
Now another game, a series actually that I've been really into. Like it's one of the main games that I've been streaming on the Rapid Respawn with Tim. We've been playing a series called The Banner Saga. Have you ever heard of that? Oh, damn. All right. Well, there we go again. There we go again. Here she goes again. I'm gonna. That Michael. I know. It's like, come on.
It's like, come on, man. Let's picture that. It's like, come on, man. Alright, there we go. Maybe I forgot to do a soundtrack earlier, so make sure we got that going. Oh, shit, I didn't even click the button. God damn it. Like, why isn't it working? It's because I'm an idiot, that's why. Okay, hopefully this time
We're good.
So this is where the benefit of having like our own full team of 4 would be really nice, because then no one would be doing that.
I know, right? Oh god.
But no, have you ever heard of the Banner Saga games?
Yes, I have. I've heard of them. Never played them.
Absolutely loving it.
Okay.
I think they're fantastic. I am thrilled, honestly, with them, and I would the Banner Saga is actually something I think should get an animated series. This would be a perfect thing to get an animated series, and in fact, Powerhouse Animation, which I saw it in the credits. I did not look it up to double check to make sure it was the same company, but it's called Powerhouse Animation, so I'm pretty sure it is. But that's the same studio that made the Castlevania show and is supposed to be working on the Devil May Cry show. They actually did do the animation and the cutscenes in the Banner Saga games already.
That's cool.
But the basic, the gameplay structure, I would describe it as the Lord of the Rings meets the Oregon Trail. Do you remember the Oregon Trail game back in the day?
Oh god!
Every 5 minutes, somebody died of dysentery. That was kind of the whole game.
Oh fuck!
But it was a really kind of early primitive. Text-based adventure where you would be like it would be kind of an old American West thing, and you'd you'd be traveling and it's like side scrolling almost side to side across a landscape, and you would get stopped here and there and have to make decisions, and they would affect who's people in your caravan living and dying, and it was brutally difficult, and so almost always everybody died of dysentery because it was just a hard ass game. But so this game, it's kind of a similar concept in terms of gameplay, where it's a big landscape that you are traveling across with a big caravan of people that you're trying to keep alive. You make lots of story decisions and dialogue choices to progress the game, and that could have there's so many that you can't even find footage online of all the potential ways that things can happen.
Oh, wow.
There's not even footage of every way something can go down, because there's so many possibilities. But then the story is this kind of Norse-inspired fantasy. It's oh my god, this is just one skeleton. Hey Carrie, welcome in. Okay, all right.
Oh, not Carrie.
This is one skeleton got me down. Hello, Carrie.
No.
So you've got this gameplay setup, and then the combat of the game is a grid-based strategy game, very similar to say Fire Emblem, right, from Nintendo. Very similar to that kind of style. But then the story, it's this really cool, kind of Norse-inspired fantasy universe. And you've got you've got these your two kind of main groups of characters. You've got the humans, and then you've got the Varl, which are these they're kind of like Jotun from Norse mythology. They're these big dudes. They've got big horns. They're these massive guys, and they can't reproduce. They're actually handcrafted, each individual Varl by a god. And here's another thing about the world: all of the gods of this universe died years before the game even takes place. So like you're living in a world where the gods no longer exist. So the Varl, this like, you know, one of the main fantasy creatures, there can never be more of them, and they will go extinct. And it is this weird kind of, like, you know, it's looming over the narrative that, like, there is 100% a finite number of these creatures. Like, they will go. But yes, you've got your humans, these Varl, and these other creatures start to come in from kind of almost every direction, and you are trying to get away from them. You're trying to flee these they're called the Dredge, and they're these big, they wear this like black stone armor, and it's kind of like, it is kind of an apocalypse story in some ways. It's not Norse mythology exactly, right, but they do play on a lot of Norse mythology ideas, so it is similar to the idea of Ragnarok, right? Like, all the gods die, and then everybody thought the world would end, but then it didn't, and the world kept going on. And then, just a couple days before the game starts, the sun is in the sky, just stops moving. Like, it stops setting.
Oh.
Like, the moon stops coming up, so it just is, like, permanent daytime. And then, a few days later, these Dredge creatures start to come in and start invading villages and coming and just tearing things apart. And you're like, all right, well, what's going on here? And then you find out that they are just running away from something else. And then I won't say any more because that's just like a hook to get you interested. But it is a really cool fantasy universe. Really creative, and the animation, some of it being done by Powerhouse Studios, is awesome. And each game, so like the first game, you've got a couple of actual cutscenes, but for the most part, it's mostly the gameplay and like the kind of static character portraits when the dialogue stuff comes up. But then each game, more and more like fully animated scenes start to happen. And we're both like way dead. And it is very dramatic, Gary. It's very dramatic. But it's a great game. It's a great game. We just finished the second one on Saturday, and now you just have the one more. But yeah, they're fantastic little indie games. Totally worth checking out. You can probably get all three of them for like $10, honestly, on every platform. I'm pretty sure they're on everything: the Switch, the Xbox, Steam, PlayStation.
I think I got the second one free on Games with Gold years ago.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I would not recommend starting with the second one, but because it's
no.
It's another thing too. Oh shit! Dropping stuff. I am dropping things. It's like, you know, like say like Mass Effect or any of those games with like that kind of choice-based narrative structure, where your decisions do, like, the next game will look at the save file for the first game and then determine a bunch of differences based on that. Like, the protagonist that you are playing as can be a different character, like, from game to game. That is how significant the story changes are. Like, you can end up with a different protagonist than other people.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to look into that then, because I remember getting the second one, and I remember thinking, oh, do you know what, that doesn't actually look that bad. And I got the second one for free, and I was like, I don't want to play the second one. I want to play it from the first one, because why would you? You know
I mean, some franchises might work. Some franchises might. I said franchise. Some franchises might work okay that way, but not that one. Definitely not that one.
No, from the sounds of it, hell no. Like, I started, my first Fable game was Fable 2, and I think that works quite well playing from the second one, because it just...
Yeah, those are pretty self-contained.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it seemed, I remember looking at it and thinking there's a lot to this, and I kind of, I'm actually going to have a look for those, I think.
Yeah,
see if I can get the first one.
I've been loving them. And then you know, for our show, no worries, Gary, we'll see you in a sec. No problem. But yeah, for our show, Rapid Respawn, we, you know... Oh, hey, I'm alive again.
Hey! I was coming to get you.
But yeah, for Rapid Respawn, we've been playing. You know, that channel, or that particular show, we spent basically an entire year of streaming playing exclusively all the Dark Souls or all the Souls like games all in a row, and then we when we finished Sekiro. We were like,
guy just left. Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, at least it didn't completely end the whole game.
Oh.
Other than, we are down a guy now. Oh god. I still don't have a melee weapon of any kind. I've got a gun, but I'm also out of ammo, and I don't really have a gun, I guess.
I don't have any heals.
Oh,
yep, there we go. Oh, we went down together. Excellent.
At least if we're gonna die, we're dying together.
Yeah. Good grief.
But yeah, so after beating Sekiro and finally kind of having completed all, well, then Elden Ring came out. So now we have another one again, but we wanted to let's do some different stuff that could still be looked at as difficult, but do some different games, and the Bandit Saga is kind of our first real non-Souls game that we've done on the show, and it's so good. Oh, you know what? That's right. We also did. We also played Death's Door on Rapid Respawn. That was a lot of fun. Have you seen anything for that before?
I haven't, no.
Death's Door is pretty cool. It's you play as it's got this very cartoony art style. It's a pretty lighthearted game. Oh, I think the match is all right. I'll wait until we reconnect so the audio doesn't cut out.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Welcome back, Gary. Horton's audio just cut out, so you came back just in time for. Oh, have you played Death's Door? Nice. I really liked it. Just got to get another game up and running here, and then we'll be good to go. He'll be back. It'll be just a quick moment. See, there he is. He's in the chat. Alright. Hey, match came in quick this time. Alright.
Hey.
I didn't see it. But no, so Death's Door it's cute. He plays a little cartoon crow. And it can be kind of a hard game too, so it's got some Souls-like elements to it, although it is not nearly as difficult as an actual Souls game.
Oh god, no.
But it actually, the gameplay is very reminiscent of, I believe it was A Link to the Past, which was one of the rare times a Zelda game got a direct sequel, right? Because normally those games are all standalone. But I believe A Link to the Past was an actual sequel, and so it's got this overhead camera kind of style, dungeon crawler kind of gameplay style. It's like you're a crow, and then the crows are Grim Reapers, and so you have to collect souls to open up this like big door and solve a mystery. It's a very cool game. Very cool.
That's cool.
Very fun indie game.
It makes me want to watch The Crow.
Listen closely.
Does it make you want to watch any of the Crow sequels?
No,
Nothing
I
does.
have never watched them, and I don't want to watch them. So
they're bad.
Big fat. I've heard one of someone I used to know at school absolutely adored. I think it was like the second one, and I'm like, but why? Like the first one is literally like so good. They can't do much better than that.
Well, also, like, any of the Crow sequels had literally no one in common on the production. So, like, you're looking at, a creative team that's, is not there in the other games. Like you're looking at something that, I mean, not that can't, you can't still sometimes get good sequels out of a different creative team, because of course you can.
Yeah.
But The Crow just, it didn't need a sequel. It shouldn't have had anything. And on top of that, the ones that they made were really bad. Okay, this time I have weapons. Let's see how this match goes. It might go a little better this time because I have things. Let's see. Yeah, and then at some point, I don't know when it'll be exactly, but because I'll have to make sure I can work it in the budget. But to add Game Pass, for at least for like a month or something, so we can a couple of these Tuesday streams we can do Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yes.
Because that'd be another really good stream.
That would be
That's
fun.
a better weapon. Hell yeah. Take a mace.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that makes me think of did you ever, okay, so I sometimes it can be good, a lot of times it was, I think, not good. But did you ever watch Smallville back in the day when that was on? Yeah, the Superman.
Smallville.
I really like some of it, and then there's some times when I was like, all right.
No, I'm completely.
Mostly the later seasons.
8th season? Yeah, I watched the first 8 seasons. Oh, there you go, Sage. They're those new weapons I was telling you about.
Ooh, is it the syringe? Hell yeah! The mace I have, I think, is a little better, but that's awesome that that's awesome that that's a weapon in the game. Because that's based off of the brother in the remake.
Team has located
Right, yeah. Well, so I was just, because of the mace, it made me think of when it was like season 6 or 7 or something like that, and Smallville did their version of like the Justice Society, and they had their version of Hawkeye, who I swear to God sounded like a Will Ferrell character. Like the whole time, like he literally was like, what was the line of dialogue he had? Like he comes out and he's got the mace, and another character sees him for the first time. He's like, "So what are you, my babysitter or something?" He's like, "Think of me more like a guy who'll make your face bleed." Like he's just weird lines of dialogue. Apologies for delaying my message to my parents. Oh, no worries. I liked Smallville some of the time. I think like the first 5 seasons were all pretty solid.
I've got the first 2 or 3, I believe, on DVD.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I genuinely really enjoyed. Like you said, the earlier seasons were great.
It had some good stuff. In the later seasons too, it just wasn't consistent.
No.
I can leave a room and it'll cut out, or go to a different part of the house and boom, no internet. Oh damn, that sucks. I had that problem actually too in my place here for a while, where it would only work in certain rooms. And I don't know if it's just the material the walls are made of, or why, but a lot of problems. We fixed it by we got these like pod things that plug into the wall, and then they're supposed to like triangulate and like increase the strength of the signal across different rooms. Well, the problem with Smallville ended up being that. The idea of the show is that it's a pre-Superman show, but by like season 6, he's living in Metropolis, fighting Brainiac, Darkseid, and all of the villains that Superman fights, and like dating Lois Lane, living in Metropolis, being a reporter. He's literally doing every single thing that Superman does, but he's still not Superman. That is what the issue, I think, turned into after a while, is that they wanted it to be a pre-Superman show, but they ended up just making a Superman show at a certain point. And they kind of... But it's like, oh, well, he's not Superman yet, but he's going to do... So, like, well, what is Superman going to do when he's actually Superman? Because it seems like you've crossed off, like, the entire bucket list of things Superman needs to do in a Superman story before he's ever even Superman. Plus, I also think... Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say the other thing as well is he didn't fly because I can't really remember the last.
No,
few
he just
seasons
floated.
well.
Sometimes.
It's like
he flies in the last episode. He flies in the series finale.
Oh, well done, leaving it that fucking long. But yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, the scandal with the actress who played Chloe. It's ruined for you, but I can understand that. I can still watch it, and it doesn't really bother me. Just I just separate the and then it's totally fair to each their own. Like I just separate the art from the artist a lot, so it's to me it's not as bothersome.
Nope.
But also, like I get it too. At the same time, I understand. Gordon, do you know about the Do you know about all that stuff that happened with her? What was Allison Mack? I think was her name.
Yeah, Allison Mack. Yeah, there was a Phoebe, I think, was following it. She didn't even watch Smallville. She just likes weird crime shit. So she kind of like filled me in on bits and bobs.
Fair enough, Gary. Fair enough. Totally understand.
Yeah, fucking just Jesus Christ. I mean, like I said, I started watching Smallville when I was like, oh god, 16, 17, I think it was. One of my mates introduced me. And, like, I remember watching it and thinking, oh, this is great. So it's like, part of my teenage years growing up watching that, and then obviously see about that, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. What the fuck?
If there's anything I can say that might make you feel slightly better about Allison Mack specifically, Carrie, it is that I would say she herself was brainwashed to some degree. Like, she was not a cult leader, like she was herself brainwashed into then participating. Like, yes, she participated, and it is gross. But I will say, like, there were people that sucked her in and, manipulated her and kind of messed with her.
Twisted her.
Not that makes it...
Doesn't make it...
Yeah. Exactly. It doesn't like, negate it or make any of it okay, but there is maybe just some small element of sympathy that I can give her, to where she probably was not, 100% in control of herself.
No.
It's always the way with cults. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting too. There's I really love oh god, what was his name that played Lex Luthor now?
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, thank you. I can't believe I didn't get that name.
I can't believe I remembered.
Right, there you go. I feel like that's usually the opposite for us. But because Michael Rosenbaum also did the voice of the Flash in the Justice League cartoons. He was also the Flash. Yep, he was the Flash in those cartoons. But he's got a podcast. I don't listen to it regularly, but every once in a while I'll catch a clip. And I was listening to Trunk, and he was talking. I don't even remember who he was talking to, but he told the story about Allison Mack coming to visit him, and this was long after Smallville had already been over too. But she came over with some friends, and they started they just kind of went into his kitchen and started making food. And then when he was like, "What the fuck are you?" It was this weird thing. He described her almost as zombie like she wasn't there was something just off about her. And then she brings these other two guys with her, and then they just start trying to make food in his kitchen, they've been in there for a minute. He doesn't even know these guys, and they just start taking his food out and trying to start cooking, and he's like, okay, he starts, at a certain point he's like, all right, please leave, this is weird. And then the guys that were with her got super aggressive about it, and tried to be almost tried to start a fight because he was telling them to leave. It was a very weird story, and he, Michael Rosenbaum, he didn't know that this was going on. At least, I trust that he's being honest about that. But he's like, when he heard about all this stuff in the news, he thought back to that experience and was like, okay, well, maybe that makes that weird experience I had maybe fit into place a little more.
Yeah, very odd. I love seeing the Smallville cast later on in after it I think the biggest one for me was me and Phoebes have just started watching through Lucifer.
Oh, have you?
Yes. Well, I say started. We're on season 5.
That is a show that I don't think I'll ever be able to get into.
No,
Because
like
of
it.
what the book is.
Yeah, see, I like it because I don't know, I think growing up with it on TV, the corny cop show, like, you know, somebody helping the police that's not actually a police person, American TV shows,
sure.
they're always, like, and, yeah, so season 3, Tom Welling was in it.
Now holds the final
Oh, was he? Okay.
The lost pages of the
And
Necronomicon
yeah, it was really odd for me seeing him obviously
All
outside the role of Clark Kent, but he fucking did brilliantly. He was an asshole in it as well.
Well, so I'm curious. Do you know about the comic that the Lucifer show is supposed to be an adaptation of?
It was I think I've read it was from Sandman, wasn't it? Like originally Lucifer showed up in Sandman.
Yeah. So it's the version of Sandman. It's the version of Lucifer that's from Sandman, which is the comic version is drawn to look like basically exactly like David Bowie, right? Super androgynous, this very elegant kind of figure. And then there was a Lucifer spin-off comic where Lucifer basically is like, I don't want to be in hell. I don't like this. This is not the life I want. And so Lucifer then, leaves hell and kind of travels the world as like a philosopher monk. And then it's these, it's all these, it's like this globe-trotting experience, but it's constantly in a different place, and the only character, maybe there's a couple of characters that show up again, here and there, but for the most part it is just Lucifer interacting with a completely new cast every comic. And that's the thing that makes it hard to get into that show for me, is because the show is, all right, he's gonna solve crimes in LA.
Yep.
And the book is about him traveling the entire world and meeting a just massive number of different people and being like a philosopher. And so it's not that the show can't be good as its own thing.
Oh, yeah.
I just wish that they would have said, hey, we're doing our own thing. We're not that, hey, we're adapting this comic, because when you actually watch the show, they're not adapting that comic.
No.
And so I just wish that they could have been like, hey, we're doing our own original show, instead of saying, this is supposed to be this book. And I'm like, it's not that book.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere, is it in the Sandman show? The version of Lucifer in that says something about going to LA and opening up a piano bar.
I think that's in Supernatural that they made that joke with the Supernatural's version of Lucifer. I remember that scene in Supernatural. He's literally taunting them. He's like, oh, maybe I'll go to LA and solve crimes.
Yes. I remember that as well.
I think the Sandman that's in the Lucifer, or the Lucifer that's in the Sandman Netflix show, I think that was a dead-on interpretation of that version of Lucifer.
Nice. Yeah, it's crap.
Oh, sorry.
No, I've just becoming possessed.
Oh, that's a different guy. Oh shit. Well, I feel the same way about the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, if you remember that.
Yes.
I think that as its own film, I do think that is a pretty decent movie, but it's got nothing to do with the character Constantine.
No.
Right? Constantine is a blonde-haired British asshole that like a cultist con man, and the movie is Keanu Reeves playing an American exorcist working in Mexico. This is not the same character.
Nearly yours. Summon your courage and stay close.
This is not even close.
No. God,
and again, as its own thing, it can work fine as its own thing, but it's just not that character.
No, I really Keanu Reeves one. Like I said, because luckily for me, like when it comes to shit like character, pretty much out of the know, so I'm very much take it as what I see kind of person.
Oh, sure.
So it works really well, 95%.
And I mean, I believe in not necessarily, I believe in being able to look at an adaptation as its own thing, separated from the source material, and then also at the same time evaluate. See, like, and I like to do that. I like to evaluate it as an adaptation, and then I like to evaluate it as its own thing, and then even compare my own different evaluations to each other based on different criteria. And usually, once I have done that, that's usually where I end up falling on my where I settle on my ultimate opinion on something. Is I'll think about it as an adaptation, I'll think about it as its own thing, and then I'll kind of bridge the two things together, and then I'll kind of and that's also, some of me just can't not come at things from being a fan. I mean, Rings of Power is a good example. But at the same time, I also tried very hard to come at that as if I, pretending I didn't know anything other than, say, the movies. And I still think that show is absolutely terrible, even as its own thing.
See, I'm very much the same with remakes. I will take them as their own movie. So, like, perfect example was the what was it? Shit. It was the Arnie movie, Total Recall.
Oh yeah.
The remake from that, I genuinely really enjoyed it. I liked the concept that there was no Mars; it was just on Earth, and the bridge going from one place to the planet straight through the middle to the other side. Like, it was a really cool concept. The way they did it, done really well. And then you've got the Robo remake, which I thought was absolute fucking dog shit because the original was the best.
Yeah, I hated the RoboCop remake. I did not. And you know what? There was potential, too, because there was one idea in the movie, and then they didn't explore it. But there was one idea there about how, I think it should have been a sequel rather than a remake, first of all. But there's this idea about how, the kind of machines and the way they're being used in war is, actually super common in this world. Yeah. And I think that could have been a cool concept for a sequel rather than a remake. Because then you could have gone into, the evolution of the technology since the original movie and how it's had an impact on the international war economy. That would have been a cool idea for a RoboCop.
That would have been fucking awesome.
But they didn't. And again, it's the idea is there a little bit, but then they don't explore it.
Yeah, it's a fucking shame. Because that would have been awesome. Absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's just big missed opportunity. Why is my flashlight not turning on?
I don't.
Well, whatever.
Oh, is that out of battery?
Did you get advice from me? I mean, I would like to think so. I think I could come in and be a script doctor for a lot of these movie production companies. I mean, let's just take Lord of the Rings. Let's just take Rings of Power, right, as an example, right? I just want to talk about the opening 5 minutes of the first episode. They try and do kind of a backstory prologue moment, just like the movies do, right? So in the Lord of the Rings, the first Lord of the Rings movie, there's a 12-minute scene that explains who Sauron is, what the ring is, why it would be bad if Sauron got the ring, why he wants it. It explains all of the major races that exist in the world that you need to know about. It explains, it gives you a sense of the elves' immortality. You get to meet characters like Elrond, who'll show up later in the movie. It establishes all this stuff, and you get a really good sense of what the world, that the characters are inhabiting is actually like. Rings of Power, on the other hand, does this. It does a short prologue kind of sequence, and it tells you a little bit of story, but it doesn't really explain enough of the world to actually give you a sense of it, right? It tells you, it basically says somebody named Morgoth destroyed 2 trees that were important for some reason, and then Sauron took over as the bad guy, and then he went missing. And that's basically all the information it really gives you. Whereas, like, I can tell you, because I know the book, that Morgoth was the first and most powerful of the Valar, the gods of this universe, and that he turned, and that he, as the Dark Lord, alongside a gigantic evil spirit called Ungoliant, burned the two trees that light the world. They were literally the sun and moon. So they destroy the light of the world. And then the spider spirit turns on Melkor or Morgoth and tries to devour him even, and then Morgoth summons his army of Balrogs to fight off the giant spider, and then there's all the stuff about how he steals the Silmarils and what the Silmarils are, and then but the 5-minute prologue that is at the beginning of the first episode, it doesn't really explain anything. It says someone named Morgoth destroyed two trees, but there's no context as to who Morgoth is, versus the prologue in Fellowship of the Ring gives you a very, very good idea of who Sauron is and why Sauron matters, why the ring matters. They don't even mention the Silmaril, or what the Silmarils are. The Silmarils you could think of as almost, for these other stories, you could think of them as being as important as the One Ring is in The Lord of the Rings. So, like, they're your kind of holy MacGuffin objects, right? And actually, they are truly holy, whereas the ring is like an evil thing. The Silmarils are actually holy, like, quite literally. They don't have, like, the kind of negative, evil said, like, people do bad things to get the Silmarils within the stories of the Tolkien universe, but when people do bad things at the cost, at the attempt of the Silmarils, that is the bad nature of a person or an elf that is causing them to lust after the Silmarils' beauty, not the Silmarils themselves manipulating people, right?
Yeah.
But the show, it doesn't even explain what the Silmarils are. It's just, it doesn't give you any, it's not part of why I don't think it works I don't think it really works for someone who isn't a fan already, because it doesn't give you enough exposition. Well, it's like it gives you too much exposition and never stops giving exposition, but it's never the right exposition that actually provides context. It's never the information you actually need to understand the world. It's only...
If you are a fan, it doesn't give you any plot.
It also doesn't. Well, also, Michael, you can come sit right down and join the stream here.
Should I ingest one of my goodies before?
If you want to, dude, if you want to eat an edible, you go right ahead.
All right.
We make the stream real goofy.
I don't know what the bylaws on Twitch were about that.
I guess just do it off camera. So just don't be on camera, I guess, when you eat it. But I don't think there's any rules about doing drugs and then being on Twitch.
Sure, okay. Yeah, he said he had these nanotech fast-acting, hard candy edibles, so...
Nanotech fast-acting edibles. That sounds like some sci-fi shit.
Well, that's what I need in my life. Let's see.
Carrie in the chat says hello to you.
Oh, hello, Carrie.
Michael will be on camera in just a short moment with the headset and everything. And Link... you are a dog. You cannot have drugs. You stop it. No drugs for the dog, man.
What about Poochie?
Poochie? Well, Poochie was an asshole.
Poochie probably did drugs.
Poochie died on the way back to his home planet.
Oh, no.
Which is what I hope happens to Galadriel in the Rings of Power.
That'd be awesome. Oh my god, these tapes are good.
Really?
No.
Nice.
I need all these. No, I'm just...
Updated hello, now that she knows your name. Right here.
Even gave me a free pre-roll and shit.
Oh, wow, nice.
Said,
Yeah, I just put that on the table, otherwise all
this is the
three of the
Garden
cats.
Gnome coloring book.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great. That's great.
So I don't know, if mine's the simpler thing, then I figure I should give that to Alex first.
Okay, well, for anyone on the stream, Horton, if you can see I don't know if you have the stream pulled up or not, but this is the Gnome coloring book that Michael got for Alex that we will be giving him. We will be giving him live on the stream later tonight. And then Michael, here's a headset for you.
All right.
And, well, Michael, this is Horton, who has been in the chat before.
Oh, hey, Horton.
Hello. Horton, this is Michael. This is the Batman expert I have talked about.
Yes.
I have gone on on and on at length about comics and lots of other nerdy things to Horton. And I have mentioned you multiple times as like the Batman expert.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Yes.
and the Mountain Dew expert,
Yeah.
because again, at some point we got to do that Mountain Dew based cooking show.
Yeah, the Dukespert.
Yeah, the Dukespert. Doing the Dew or whatever.
No, what-
We'll come up with a name.
Yeah, we'll come. Yeah.
Cooking with Dew. I don't know.
Yeah.
How about do
yeah.
you want some cake?
Mountain Dew cake.
Yeah. I'm not excited.
I lied to you. What did I lie about?
Talk about
Did I get a detail wrong of the mythology, or was it about whether something was on a streaming service or not? Because I feel like I definitely talked about stuff being on a streaming service.
This is Evil Dead, I'm guessing.
This is the Evil Dead game. Yeah, they actually just recently added Mia from the remake as a playable character.
That's what that is. Cool.
And we're fighting the Army of Darkness skeletons.
Huh.
No, I said that X-Men 90s. I said that the 90s animated series and that X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men were definitely on there, and that I wasn't totally sure about
You
Evolution.
fucking piece of shit.
That's exactly what he said. I remember this conversation,
No,
Karen.
I remember this. I do. I said that I said Evolution might be.
You also said Evolution.
I mean, there's a record. We can go back and look. I said Evolution is the one I wasn't sure about.
I like how everybody who knows you throws you under the bus whenever they...
Yeah, that's just what happens. You didn't see the Wolverine one either? That one I know is I watched that one on there, so unless they like took it off for some reason.
I haven't seen it on there. So.
Well, have you looked?
No.
Well, so... You fucking asshole. Alright, we're dead.
Oh, fuck.
I was going to say, you're also the only one alive.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I forgot to mention that, so...
And then, since we are doing, Horton is playing on PC,
Yeah.
so this is crossplay. Unfortunately, the audio, it cuts out when the match ends, and then...
and then we can't hear him.
Yeah, and then it kicks back in when we start another match. So there's these weird, like, intervals where Horton we can't actually talk directly, but...
Where Horton can't hear a what.
We're-
Can you hand me that gnome book again?
Oh, yeah.
But it's gonna be. It's not as
Yeah,
funny.
you can show pages up to the camera and everything.
It's not as funny as I was hoping it would be. I mean, no, the book is funny, but it's just my girlfriend got really bored one day and got high and just started
No, she colors some of
coloring
them in.
some of it. Although where is it now? She started coloring.
Give him a gnome coloring book that is partially pre-colored.
I know.
too.
I was hoping that she would just color the whole thing. So Alex was like, "I can't even fucking use this." That's what I was hoping for. But all she really got to was this much of it.
Oh, nice.
Before she got
Nice.
bored.
Well, here, Alex will get that gnome partially colored in.
But I'm just gonna say that she was like, you know, I just wanted to color his beard. You know, I'm gonna say that she got really hot and was like, I just have to color his beard. That's what it was. There you go.
Now, Alex's first question, I would assume, was do the gnome carpets match the gnome drape?
Well, that's all he cares about is their
Oh, no.
genitals.
I have to start over again for somebody, one of the person we,
An example, gnome.
how to color a gnome beard. Somebody dropped out of the game. Search for a match again.
But, what was I just gonna say? I felt like I was just gonna say something about the gnome shit. Oh yeah, that's all he cares about is gnome genitalia, so.
Yeah, that is Alex's number one thing, is
Yeah,
gnome
that's-
genitals. That's kind of all he cares
Only
about.
concern
It's
in the
really,
world.
yeah. I mean, that's like, he's like, more than food.
Yeah, with just the
Like,
food. I mean,
yeah.
he doesn't even look for that until
Yeah.
he's seen a pair of testes in his face, you know, from the gnome,
That's not dodgy at all. No, Alex, he hates gnomes just vitriolically, so
Yeah.
we take every opportunity to just torment him with gnomes. We buy him gnomes. He has an entire, like, giant Rubbermaid bin just filled with gnomes. I got him a 3-foot-tall gnome that you put batteries in, and it whistles. I got him a gnome that cat calls him in his own house.
I swore I thought you were going to say an entire rubber gnome sex doll. I swore that's where you're going.
I don't know if they make that.
We gotta buy him one if there is.
We might have to get it custom made.
Jesus Christ.
let me go get. I'll go get the gnome that I have for him. Let me get that real quick.
I wanna see
I'll
that.
show that on the camera.
Oh, yeah. Oh dear God, that would be hellish. Yeah, I agree about that. Alright.
Okay, that still works. So that's the one. How's it kicked us again? No, we're good. Yes.
Oh, what the hell is that?
So this gnome has real long dangly legs.
Oh.
And
God.
also, it's holding a little sign that says blessed.
That's exactly how Alex is going to feel.
Yeah, he's going to feel blessed. Right, he's going to be like, hashtag blessed.
That is fucking... Wait, does it actually have a hashtag part on there?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
That's my own little addition.
You get a Sharpie and draw that.
Yeah, I know. Thought you were going to say something else. Well, Alex is interested in the dangly pieces.
I agree, Carrie's gnome. I also thought he was going to say 2 dangly dicks from the gnome, so I assumed.
Well, it can only dangle so much because it's under the hat, right?
Yeah,
We've
right.
discussed the gnome anatomy many times.
Yes.
And it's under the hat. That's why the hats are pointy.
I believe we invented the gnome anatomy.
We did. Well, I mean, there's just some anatomy questions that I have about fantasy creatures. I mean, centaurs, right? Like,
Wow. Yeah.
like they've got the whole human half, right, down to the waist, and then they've got the whole horse body.
Oh, big horse cock, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's that. Do they have a because there's the centaur in Mortal Kombat has a speedo on, so that implies a human penis at the front of the horse. But then, does it also have a horse penis at the back? Also, does it have a human stomach and a horse stomach? Now, does it eat human food? And then, like, does it eat horse food? Because how is that? How is those different stomachs processing those different foods? And then again, with the dick, what's going on there?
Well, I know I thought it was a good question last time, but you guys just called me high. But when I was asking about gnomes, and I said, all gnomes have been known throughout history to wear overalls, and it occurred to me, it's like...
I don't think they all do.
Well, I just even had this image that even ancient gnomes had overalls, and it just seemed like such a paradox that gnomes could have overalls before overalls were invented,
That is 100% a high thought. That is such a high thought. What are you talking about?
I was like, do the gnomes have overalls and hieroglyphics, Like,
oh my god.
That is...
Well, like ancient Egyptians drawing gnome pictures on the fucking walls of a pyramid.
That's some pretty ancient denim right there.
Ancient denim. That is the name of my new album dropping next week, by the way. Support me on SoundCloud.
I thought Here's What was gonna say fucking Ancient Aliens shit, and I'm like, I could see that being an episode of Ancient Aliens too.
He's just high all the time.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I can be. I don't know.
I mean, hey man, that's me too.
It's 2022. What else can we do? To survive, to cope, whatever.
But no, I do think gnomes have been around for far too long. I'll say that.
They've been part of the nomenclature.
Oh my god. God damn it. See, you're the one that hates puns.
I know, but that's like the only gnome pun I could really think of anyway, so I just use that one all the time.
Let's see. I hear growling around. There's somebody, some monster around here somewhere.
Damn. Well, that was pretty dope. I've always loved the Evil Dead genre for being one of the only ones where characters are just like hardcore. I'm just gonna fist fight this zombie or whatever. Like, most zombie movies, whatever, the people are all afraid. They're like, oh no, the zombie, or they try and shoot it from far away.
Right.
But they're just like, let's just fucking kill all this shit right now with our bare hands or an axe.
If you don't have a weapon, you do just, and you hit the attack button, they do just swing their fists. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's 100% in this game. Now, Michael, I actually think because I know you're looking at getting a console sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
This would be, I think, a great game for you to pick up and for us to be able to jump in, because me and Norton have been talking about how nice it'd be, because so many people keep dropping out of games, and then we have to go back and matchmake again.
Right.
So, you'd be one more person that we then wouldn't have to worry about that.
Well, my current Wi-Fi connection sucks a little bit, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, a big part of it is like my internet has to run the multiplayer and then also be uploading like the stream itself, so which is a lot more taxing. So if you were just doing the game part, Plus, also, I will also say, if you can get a hard-wired connection instead of doing it wireless, that also works much better. Like, just earlier, actually, the internet had cut out, and because we were on Wi-Fi, and that was when you had first walked in earlier. And then I had to stop it. I hardwired it and made sure, and now we haven't had a single issue since then.
Just with, like, an Ethernet cable, or, like,
Yep. You get a good Ethernet cable, and yeah, just hardwire it in, and it generally is going to work a lot. I mean, it went from like 50 megabytes per second download speed to 600 megabytes per second download speed.
Wow.
Wi-Fi versus wired. Yeah. I also have no idea where anyone is right now, and I'm just kind of
revealing the location.
Oh well, dude, I listened to the whole John Peters fucking.
Oh, John Peters crazy shit. Now I'm curious, Horton, do you know who John Peters is?
Not a clue.
That's alright, dude.
So, he was this absolutely insane Hollywood movie producer. He worked on he was a producer on the Tim Burton Batman movies.
Producer on that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I think a lot of people that, if anybody knows him, it's like Kevin Smith, like 20 years ago now, or whenever he did it.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
He talked about fucking the time he met John Peters at his house to like work on a movie or something. And
it was a Superman movie.
Well, it was Kevin Smith's Superman movie that he was going to do at the time.
Which would have starred Nicolas Cage. It never got made, but...
Which would have been amazing.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and he's got like a 20-minute story about how this is just the kookiest, craziest fucking guy he'd ever met. And
he made him read him the entire script like a bedtime story.
Yeah, he'd like tuck him in.
Kevin Smith was like going to drop the script off. He's like, "Well, just call me when you finish it. Let me know what you think." He's like, "Well, you're not going to read it to me? What? No, just sit down and read it to me."
Dude, the guy is just as crazy as that. And I used to think like he was just making up all this stuff,
or at least exaggerating.
I after he talked about enough of it for like just an hour, and you know, like whenever I don't often listen to Joe Rogan, for one reason he does like 3 5-hour fucking podcasts anyways, but he has really interesting people on and shit.
And including this insane movie producer.
Yeah, and this guy he only had on for like an hour, and I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing at first.
But is it like you couldn't handle more than that,
like,
maybe?
I'd listened to like a short clip from it before where he was just talking about the Tim Burton Batman, and it wasn't like that interesting sounding, that little clip.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, maybe Joe Rogan thought he wasn't that interesting a guest overall.
Sure.
And that's why it's shorter, maybe. I don't know. But then, having listened to the whole thing, I think they just picked like the most boring segment for a clip they could, honestly.
Because he's pretty wild otherwise.
He's just so fucking delving 100% into every topic every second.
Okay.
That by like an hour,
it feels like it's been 3.
the guy was like, you know, he's like, I'm fucking 77 years old. I gotta stop this right now. So the producer dude called it quits.
Okay.
You know. But
that's interesting. Well, like I want to mention just a couple of the highlights of the Kevin Smith story.
For sure.
Since Horton, you haven't heard about this story before. But so he reads them the whole script, and this guy gives Kevin Smith 3 rules. He's like, I have 3 rules for this Superman movie. 1, I don't want to see him flying. He shouldn't fly. 2, I don't want to see him in that costume. It's too gay. That's what he said. It's too gay. I don't want to see this costume.
Yeah.
And the 3rd rule is that he had to fight a giant spider at the 3rd act. Now, have you ever heard of the movie Wild Wild West?
Yes.
Have you seen it? Like, you know about the giant spider in the 3rd act?
Yeah.
That's why.
Guy.
Because he couldn't get a giant spider in this Kevin Smith Nicolas Cage Superman movie. He got it in Wild Wild West instead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently that guy has asked for a giant spider in the 3rd act
movie
of probably
he's ever worked on.
many movies he's asked for it.
Well, like he's telling Kevin Smith, like, oh, we need to have an action beat every 10 pages. So, like, this
Well, to be fair, that is just like, I think he was
that is a Hollywood,
Hollywood
thing, for
formula
sure.
there.
That is true.
Yeah.
But his specific suggestions are so weird because he's like, well, we'll have at this part where, at this point in the story, Superman, of all things, a giant spider. Yeah, this guy was he's obsessed with it. He was obsessed with the idea of a giant spider.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But he
And he wanted to cast Sean Penn as Superman.
Yeah,
and he's like, why Sean Penn? He's like, have you seen Sean Penn looked in his eyes? He's got the eyes of a fucking killer. And Kevin Smith's like, but it's Superman.
This guy had no understanding of the character whatsoever. Well, and then he's like, oh, we need an action beat every 10 pages. Like, there's a part in the story in the script where Superman had died and then was going to come back, right?
Yeah.
And so Brainiac was going to be the villain. And Brainiac goes to the Fortress of Solitude. And this guy is like, all right, so Brainiac should, fight Superman's guards. And he's like, Superman doesn't have guards. It's called the Fortress of Solitude.
He's by himself.
There's no one else up there. And then
he's got some polar bears.
He's got some hair, yeah. And well, then his idea was like, well, what if Brainiac gets into a fist fight with polar bears and is punching polar bears in the face? And it's like, what the fuck?
I love that fucking story, dude.
Well, and then he wanted, he also had this idea that Brainiac would have, a gay, effeminate, robot sidekick that was, a gay Chewbacca, or, something like that.
It was weird.
It was very strange.
It was out there. But, dude, I mean, and that John Peters, a lot of those things that, we heard via Kevin Smith, that's all he talks about just as a person, too. No matter what
this is what the actual guy is doing.
No matter what he's talking about, all he cares about is the people...
Giant spiders.
Is that the people he cares about have the eyes of a killer. He'd repeat that constantly on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's like, does he have the eyes of a killer? And he's like, no. He's like, well, I'm not interested. What one of the first things...
I'm going to have to listen to that.
It's hilarious, dude. One of the first things he says when he comes on there is like, oh, I come too fast, or whatever. And Joe Rogan just starts breaking up. He's like, dude, who the fuck just says that?
Well, yeah, why do you start a conversation that way? This crazy man that's obsessed with spiders. Oh my god.
And what the fuck else did he talk about? I mean, there are so many... Like I said, just everything he talked about, it's so immediate. I don't think he could be making up most of this crap. I mean, it's just He
could be so... I mean, it might be made up, it's just that he's so crazy he believes it.
Well, it's also that his, I mean, according to him, Joe Rogan is the only interview he's ever done.
Really?
So he's the
only. What about the death of Superman? That documentary film that we watched. That was a whole documentary about
that's
that
true.
movie.
They did talk to him.
That's an outright lie.
Okay, well that's true. But maybe a actual formal.
I think he's just old and doesn't remember.
Well, that's very possible too. One of the first impressions I had of him is he's a guy version of Aunt Len. Because
so for anyone watching, that is a family member of ours who is just. Nuts, and mentally just not there.
But it's just the level of bragging that he does every second that Len kind of does sometimes, It's just I believe that this guy's actually done some of it,
Sure. What's up with old people being braggadocious about that? Goddamn.
Well,
that is 2 people in a row that have quit after we've started getting into a match.
No, but because if he's the type of guy that he presents himself as, then I think he must somewhat be. Well, I guess I can see why, because
I believe these crazy stories are probably true because he was Barbra Streisand's hairdresser, and that sounds like a pretty crazy cocaine-filled world to be in.
Well, even before that, the part of the reason why, he said Joe Rogan's the only person he's ever wanted to do, a formal, full-length interview with or whatever. And
he did do one for that movie, though. I'm just saying.
Sure. But his knowledge of fighting history is, so spot on.
Like
Joe,
boxing and martial arts.
Actual boxing, any kind of martial arts, and Joe Rogan, of course, is somewhat of an expert on this stuff, and so he knows a lot of the history behind it,
Sure.
and he knows a lot of the people that kind of started UFC and all this stuff. So every time this guy's talking, Joe Rogan's complimenting all his points, just oh yeah, that's 100% accurate and stuff.
And this guy was Barbara Streisand's hairdresser.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. This is how weird this guy was.
But I guess before that...
this crazy producer started out as Barbara Streisand's hairdresser, and somehow, what Kevin Smith described it as failing upwards into becoming an executive movie producer.
But I guess before that, he really was a street fighter. I guess all that stuff.
It's funny because in Kevin Smith's story about all this stuff with Superman and talking to this guy, this John Peters guy, he kept saying, "Yeah, you and me, we get Superman because we're from the streets."
Yeah.
But it turns out this guy's actually from the streets.
I guess so. I guess he talked about I guess the dude back when he was young was just some big muscular, I guess good looking dude back in the day and shit.
Sure.
And so I guess and his family was in show business or something. So he said from the age of 3, he'd been surrounded by movie stars and shit. He'd seen Marilyn Monroe as a kid and stuff like this.
Okay.
And since he'd been around movies all the time, when he was a little older, they asked him if he wanted to ride a horse in the back of a film set. I think the Spartacus, the 1956
Oh, wow, with Kirk Douglas?
Yeah, I think they asked if he wanted to, ride a horse in the back of that scene when he was, 19 or something.
Damn.
And he was like, yeah, fuck yeah, sure.
So he went from Street Fighter to riding a horse in Spartacus to Barbara Streisand's hairdresser to movie producer, executive film producer that worked on Batman.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess according to him, he's responsible for all of Barbara Streisand's success too, because whenever she did scripts, he would read all her scripts and tell her if she should do them or not.
Oh, so he was acting as Barbara Streisand. So he went from her hairdresser to being her agent.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, and I guess he wanted to become a hairstylist in Hollywood because he'd be surrounded by beautiful women, so he'd just be having a ton of sex all the time. Again, this is just how he tells it.
Right, these are his words.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of... This wasn't even something crazy he said, but he was talking about, how much he loved Mike Tyson and stuff. And
I will say I really enjoy Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
as a person.
Mike Tyson. But there's just this quote, this Mike Tyson quote I'd never heard of before, where he was commentating on a fight or something, and Mike Tyson said, "The gods of war have ignited his ego," or whatever.
Right. Well, I'm guessing he said it. The gods of night have ignited his ego.
Yeah. In this classic speaking voice, but. I just found that, and what he said is true, that Mike Tyson is, can say really profound things, he might not seem that articulate sometimes.
Oh my God,
but
can you imagine if a big guy like that had a silly voice?
But every once in a while, he'll just say something really profound. I've listened to some of Mike Tyson's podcasts before.
Mike Tyson has a podcast?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
It's called Hotboxing with Mike Tyson.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Now, Horton, have you ever seen the Mike Tyson Mystery Show, the cartoon? No. Because that's
What?
No, okay, so based on that, no. It's a phenomenal, adult comedy animated show. And it's basically Mike Tyson, his adopted, Korean daughter, a talking anthropomorphic pigeon, and a really, really effeminately gay ghost in, basically doing, a Scooby-Doo style show where they go solve mysteries in a big
Mike
van.
Tyson's version of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. It's very funny.
Yeah. I can't recommend that show enough.
As the Norm Macdonald, who just recently passed away, was the voice of the pigeon in the show too.
Yeah, which is too bad because he had some of the funniest lines, of course, in the show. You know.
You know what? It's not just a random choice. Actually, the reason why it's a pigeon is because Mike Tyson is in real life obsessed with pigeons. Like, I'm not even kidding. He has like massive pigeon coops in his like backyard. Like, he actually like trains pigeons and loves pigeons and takes care of them, and like he's super fucking into pigeons.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was one of his hobbies. He's taken it up. Like he said, he's always been afraid to just exercise, go to the gym again ever since he retired from boxing.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, because Joe Rogan said because he didn't want to reignite his ego.
Oh, sure. Well, because Mike Tyson at one point in his life was a pretty violent, aggressive person, and it's largely because of the guy who basically took him in, trained him, and like manipulated the shit out of him. Yeah, it was really horrible to him.
Oh yeah, dude would have been a fucking warrior, like fitting in this Evil Dead setting.
Honestly. Yeah. But then Mike Tyson, as he got older, he separated himself from that guy, and I mean, Mike Tyson was genuinely like abused by his main boxing manager.
Yeah.
Later in life, Mike Tyson really like chilled out and kind of changed the way he lived and became just this really incredibly chill,
John
just
Peters
nice
says
person.
He really tried to develop his emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think that's true because like another cool line I heard from Mike Tyson's podcast, listening to a clip one time, was that he was having this interesting debate about social topics with somebody, which I won't go into, but what he talked about at some point, they're like, talking about what a king he was, like that inner beast he had in him, like could do anything and stuff. And he was like, that person inside of me could get you anything you want, but he'd take too much in return.
That's profound.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, that's a profound thing to. Yeah. What the I know it's a weird life trajectory. It's like a very interesting life that Mike Tyson has had.
But just like he could tell about another fighter immediately, just like based on whatever change happened in the fight, for him to just immediately go like, the gods of war have ignited his ego, or something like
that sounds like some shit you'd write in like a Batman comic.
Right. That's right. But the one last John Peters thing I remember
I'm on my way,
really well is like, what's up?
Horton's bleeding out over there.
Oh shit.
Try to get over to you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, just like at the very end of it, he talks about how someone he was married to at the time, a guy came into like his salon, where he was cutting hair and shit, and this guy wearing overalls.
Oh, come on.
Wearing overalls, like dressed like a big, tall farmer or something, came up to John Peters and said,
"Damn it."
Basically, like, I'd like to see Cinderella tonight or something.
What? You're dead and I'm bleeding out now too.
and part of that is because John Peters' wife, I guess, played Cinderella at some point in some thing.
So there is context to that statement.
Yes, but again, it just adds to the craziness how he tells the story.
Right.
Well,
he doesn't necessarily always give the context, and that's what makes the story sound so crazy.
Yeah, but this part is fucking crazy. So the guy came and he's like, basically said the weird, ominous statement like, I'd like to meet your wife tonight or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And so the guy either showed up to like John Peters' house or his salon later that night, and John Peters got all the other male hairstylists that he knew who also happened to be trained martial artists, just like...
Shit, I'm the only one alive. That's not going to end well for anybody. Alright, and we're gone.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Yeah, he said all his other hairstylist buddies who were also trained martial artists, he said they're all like you. He like gestured towards Joe Rogan.
I don't know why hairstylists are all like trained in martial arts.
It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer where all the vampires know karate.
Right.
But fucking yeah, no, he said he got a bunch of his hairstylist buddies together on motorcycles in front of the salon or his house to like went for when this guy showed up that night to all beat the shit out of him.
What the fuck?
Oh, John Peters said he shot 5 people and stuff
my
like
God.
that, and that he'd been shot in the chest himself, and like 30 years ago.
The life of Barbara Streisand's hairdresser. Again, this is what I'm saying. This guy was Barbara Streisand's hairdresser.
And the bullet is still there in his chest, and Joe Rogan's like, oh, you should really get that taken out, man. And you're like, what about lead poisoning and shit?
The bullet is still in his chest?
Yeah, for like 30 years now or something.
What the fuck?
And he's still alive. I mean, that's... The guy must be some kind of remarkable. I mean,
Yeah, jeez. Now, Horton, did you hear that part of the story just now, where this Barbara Streisand's hairdresser movie producer guy got all of his hairdresser friends who all knew kung fu on motorcycles to like beat someone up?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Lost.
Damn. Yeah, and that's not the internet even. That's like the people we're matching up with quitting their game and then
that's fucked up.
Yeah, pulling out.
Can they hear all you guys talk?
Unless they mute us, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Bye.
Carrie's regular from Horton's channel who's kind of come over and hanging out with us.
I think I remember that from the last time you guys played Evil Dead.
Goddamn, again. All right, Jesus.
But yeah,
really don't want to play with us, apparently.
So those are just a few highlights I could remember from that hour-long podcast.
I mean, I'm gonna have to listen to the whole thing because that's fucking wild.
It was pretty much every minute he's saying something crazy like that. So it's like you know.
Oh come, really? It's been canceled. Jesus.
Back maybe like the first time we'd heard the Kevin Smith.
Hey, afternoon tune.
Hey, afternoon tune.
Causing chaos and taking the piss mostly to Horton.
Yeah.
Hey, afternoon tune. Welcome in. How are you today? We're just having a little trouble getting a match here, but
yeah, that sucks.
That's like 4 in a row that like somebody is like pulled out of. Hey, we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, man. If only people would stop pulling out on the match once we've started already, but...
Never pull out.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
I actually did like the Evil Dead remake. I mean, it's not like the strongest script in the world, but I think... I think it's serviceable enough for a slasher movie, which is what it is. Delving
into the torture porn category more so than the old movies did, I think it's very effective.
Yeah. Well, we're all Evil Dead fans here. Horton's also a big Evil Dead fan.
Are we good?
No, I think we're good.
I
think we're finally good.
I hope so. I
think
so.
Finally. All right, I'll play as Henry the Red. Yeah, I think we're finally good. But I am excited for the new one coming out. Based on... Oh, come on!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, sorry, Horton, we were not. We have the new Evil Dead. Oh, you haven't seen the Evil Dead remake, Gary? Or any of them?
Which is the new Evil Dead we're talking about again?
Well, it hasn't come out yet.
Okay, but what is it?
It's called Evil Dead Rise. Now, it takes place in a high-rise apartment building. Kind of almost imagine like
the Raid,
but Evil Dead.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll see how it actually turns out. I don't want to be like, it's going to be the Raid of horror movies, because that's definitely setting an expectation that it may not actually.
Is it Bruce Campbell again?
No, this is it's kind of like the remake where it's its own thing, but it's not a sequel to the remake either.
Right. Interesting.
This is just straight up its own standalone movie. I mean, I think that'd be cool if they brought Mia from the remake back too. But this is a kind of another just standalone film.
Okay.
But I like the idea that we're getting Evil Dead in a a hyper urban setting, because I don't think we've ever really had that before, even in the show.
They'd be in the city sometimes,
but even then it was a little bit. It was more of like a small town, it would never like a metropolitan urban city. It was like even in the show, it was always a small town. It's Elk Grove, Michigan. Is this?
Yeah. Oh, can Horton talk again?
I think so. Horton, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, cool. Well, and also, just a moment ago too, while the audio wasn't working, we were just joking, like, how weird must these conversations that we have on here sound to whoever else is in the game? Because we mute them for the stream, but are they muting us? Like, are they just listening to whatever weird conversations
They're just
we're having?
tuning out. That's like why they're dropping the game.
So I wonder why Bruce Campbell wasn't a bigger star. That's an interesting thought.
I also did hear about your ninja motorcyclist hairdresser gang.
Oh yeah. That's not crazy. Isn't that just bizarre?
Yeah, and like I said,
mean,
those are just the parts I could remember. So there's like a whole hour of
Just
crazy
weird
shit
stories from this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But no, to Afternoon Tune's question, or not even question, but just statement there.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell, why wasn't Bruce Campbell ever a bigger star than
Why
he was?
didn't he play Hal Jordan in A Green Lantern?
That would have been great. I would have absolutely taken Bruce Campbell as Green Lantern. Bruce, he had the look and the charm, of like a bigger movie star, but he was never a huge movie star. I mean, I guess not obviously to him. I mean, I'm sure he would have been maybe happy with the more money, but like from an outsider perspective, I kind of like that his career was, certainly not nothing, but also it was never massive, because I feel like the kinds of things I like him for are the kinds of smaller projects that a massive movie star just might not have done.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the fact that he started with Evil Dead makes it so that was kind of the trajectory of his career.
Yeah, I mean, in Hollywood, there's going to be, if you're doing horror, there's going to be a judgment as to, what you're capable of doing, for sure.
Yeah, and also, like, the lowest of budget of horror movie back then,
Yeah.
like, it was...
For some actors, actresses, in movies, it's cool to see them have a niche, to be honest. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, so I think Bruce Campbell, honestly, is in the kind of... Ooh, sorry.
Our weapon of choice.
Henry the Red. No, I totally agree with that.
Oh my
let's see,
God.
Jinx, 187 times 30. Thank you for the follow. So, who's been the biggest actor whose first movie was a horror movie?
Oh, that's a good question.
Johnny Depp.
Oh, well, yeah, that's...
Yeah, Johnny Depp's probably because Nightmare on Elm.
Nightmare.
Did you know that Nicolas Cage got him that job?
I kind of knew that.
Johnny Depp was not like an actor yet, and he was friends with Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage got him the job in Nightmare on Elm Street, and basically created Johnny Depp's career.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm honestly, to that question, who has been the biggest actor whose first movie was a horror movie? I can't think of anyone more that is a better answer than Johnny Depp, to be honest.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, kind of.
I
I don't think Halloween was her very first movie.
But it was probably her first big one.
It was like the first one I think she got famous for, maybe.
Right.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. Well, I'm trying to remember what.
Because I don't know her from anything before Alien. But
No.
is it Nicolas Cage's fault that Amber Heard abused? No, that is Amber Turn's fault and no one else.
That is definitely Amber Heard.
That is Amber Turn. Say her name right. I will never stop making jokes about that. Just forget Johnny Depp was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean he's got the '80s belly shirt the whole time.
Oh yeah.
He's the one that he's got honestly the best kill in the movie is him.
Yeah.
He
pulls into
really
the bed
gets into
and
that mattress.
Yeah.
It really gets into that. Yeah. I mean, looking back, there are some kills and little moments in the first Nightmare movie that are a little cheesy or corny because of the special effects.
I mean, just the time of technology for sure.
But, and so that one I always thought was a little, well, I'm not going to try and break down the science of Nightmare on Elm Street. I always wondered, to what...
It's magic.
It's magic, yeah, I know.
I could see that, especially at the time. But I was looking when I look back at the movie, it's the most standout.
I think that's still the best Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Is the first one. I
think the first one, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
New Nightmare is good, but I think there's
I wouldn't say it's better, but I'd say
Right.
that's probably runner-up.
Was New Nightmare the one that followed the actress from the first movie?
Yeah, where it was like it was supposed to
Yeah,
be taking
right.
place like in the real world, and then like the people
Yeah.
who made the movie were then getting haunted by Freddy Krueger, who'd like peered through the realm of fiction into the real
Yes.
world. Yeah, that was that one, which Wes Craven came back to do because
Right.
a lot of these horror most Wes Craven, John Carpenter, they
Get
most
passed
of them
off to someone that.
yeah, they would do one movie and then they would move on to something else, and Hollywood would go, haha, but there's money in this.
Yeah, like one
Cash
of the.
cow.
Yeah,
Exactly.
One of the Friday the 13th sequels, I'm pretty sure it's the worst
Oh, there's
one.
so many.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, that is the worst one.
Yeah, that was directed by like the nephew
Oh my
or
God.
son of one of the directors of the just previous sequel,
All right.
like the
I'm down.
one or two movies before that. Somebody else had come in
Right.
who probably didn't know what they were doing, and
Right.
then their fucking like nephew or something directed Jason Goes to Hell.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Jamie Lee Curtis was in a few horror films before, but obviously Halloween was the biggest, and her other ones were shite from whatever. Well, and it was Jamie Lee Curtis's mother who was in Psycho, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Right? Jamie Lee Curtis's
probably
mother
what
was
she's
in
most
Psycho.
famous for today. But I also couldn't tell you for sure what Janet Leigh's like first acting credit was.
Right. I mean, not that it
before
was
my
her first,
time,
but most
you know.
famous at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
Look, after June, you looked it up. What answers did you get? Leo DiCaprio.
DiCaprio. Was it
Was it Critters?
Critters.
Critters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Critters.
Critters
was
Critters
Kevin
3.
Bacon.
Huh.
That's right.
That's
okay.
funny.
Well,
Critters.
Leo's
That's
probably
pretty
the
big.
biggest. Yeah.
That's pretty big. Well, I know. Well, not that he's not one of the biggest, but Kevin Bacon was in Tremors, obviously. Also, not his first film, but you know.
Well, Kevin Bacon, also one of the first movies he was in was the first Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah,
One of the
that's
first
right.
people killed.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that entirely.
So that might be his first movie.
what was
I don't
Tom
know.
Hanks' first movie then? Tom Hanks' first movie was a horror movie.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Oh, what
What was?
Paul Rudd?
Yeah. What
Paul
was?
Rudd. I know he was in Hocus. Was Paul Rudd in Hocus Pocus when he was younger?
I think he was in Hocus. I think so. I got it. Well, now I gotta look it up. Halloween. Wait, Paul Rudd was in one of the Halloween movies.
Oh, was it?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Oh, okay.
What?
I vaguely remember that. Like, but what about Tom Hanks though? What was
The
his?
map whole again and revealing the
What was
whereabouts
what was the
of
Tom Hanks horror movie?
pages of the next
I like
Was
that.
there a
knows?
vampire one?
Tom Hanks.
Well, the movie that I'm pulling up here is called "He Knows You're Alone." This is
That's a
when
creepy title.
when a bride to be is stalked. He's a bad guy. Oh, he was the bad guy. Oh, that's interesting.
Huh.
The daughter's going cuckoo. Let's see. When a bride to be is stalked by a serial killer who only murders brides and the people around them, she gets some unexpected help from her ex-boyfriend. And I guess Tom Hanks is the killer, or at least a bad guy in that
I've
movie.
never heard of that one.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that movie. Damn. Look at Afternoon Tune teaching us shit. I always learn something. Afternoon Tune knows his shit. He knows his movie shit. I always learn something interesting when he's in the chat.
It's a cool sort of Halloween tangential topic we're getting into. I like the getting into
Oh,
the
hell yeah.
spirit.
I mean, it is almost October.
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing a horror game, too, so.
Like, yeah. I wish there was as much longevity to Halloween as there is to Christmas. The
Sure.
Christmas is happening
Oh, yeah.
from, like,
We're at
forever.
last 6
The
months.
last half of the year.
So Angela Bassett and Charlize Theron were both in horror movies
Alright.
at the beginning of their
Well, I
careers.
remember Charlize Theron and The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember that one. Although, would you classify The Devil's Advocate as a horror film? I mean, it's got supernatural elements.
It's a legal horror film.
A legal horror movie. It's an interesting way to describe it. Elizabeth Olsen too, huh?
Yeah,
Trying to
because
remember.
it's a courtroom horror film. Like, I mean,
man,
there's
that's-
very few that fit in that genre, but that's
Charlize Theron was in a movie called Korn 3.
Korn 3.
It's like the band's
I
third
hope it's
album.
the
Or,
band.
no, I'm kidding.
The group has begun to collect the
Ha.
conventional dagger, initiating a period
Damn,
of
that was a cool electrical explosion.
Yeah.
Just now.
That's so the demon that we're fighting in this particular level is Elagos. He's the mind demon from like the first couple of episodes of the show. Remember him? He's got that weird wavy. The gray skin and he does that weird vibration thing where he's got like the like after image almost as he moves. That's the demon. See him. He's got like a biker outfit on there, but then every time he explodes, you get a little electric charge.
Cool.
So damn, we're as another match where like one of the other people we're playing with is the only person alive still.
It makes commentary.
George Clooney's first movie was a horror movie.
George Clooney, yeah. I don't know. Well, From Dusk Till Dawn, he's in. I don't think that's his first.
Dawn. Yeah. Interesting. I'm gonna pull up George Clooney's IMDb because I'm very curious about that.
Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
No, I've never seen that, but I've heard of it. Firestarter. Oh, Drew Barrymore. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't think about that, but that's a good answer.
Drew Barrymore's kind of horror royalty.
Yeah, she's totally horror royalty. See, George Clooney, A Return to Horror High. Oh yeah, DC. There he is. Big.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that demon kicked our ass on that one.
Evil has triumphed. Your joy.
Let's see. Grizzly 2 Revenge. George Clooney was in that. Return to Horror High.
Yeah, Afternoon Tuner brought up that one too.
Oh, he said that one already. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, that is a very interesting question though. An actress that started in horror but then got super famous doing other things. Yeah, so I guess that's interesting because then when you put it in that perspective, it is odd that Bruce Campbell's career maybe didn't go in as many other directions because then you look at how many people totally did start with a horror film. Then it is kind of like, why didn't Bruce Campbell's career get bigger?
Well, I feel like with
based on that.
Like with anyone, I feel like anybody's career, anyways, it's somewhat a matter of luck, you know.
I mean, that's very true. That's very true. That is 100% true. Bruce Campbell? I mean, I never really watched it. I know he was in that show Burn Notice, but I don't know if that was dramatic.
I never really watched.
I don't know if that was. I know he was in it, but I don't know if it was dramatic or not.
No. I feel like he was more of a
comedic
character. Yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
I think I saw an episode of that.
You've seen
time ago. No, I never watched it. I think it was on TV, and I think I remember seeing an episode of it because I was just bored. And I think Bruce Campbell was very much the comedy side of things.
Comedy.
Okay, right. so he was still the comedy element of the story, then.
Yeah, he was still cocky, funny. Yeah, it was Bruce Campbell, basically, just playing Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Bruce Campbell is the kind of actor that is really good at playing himself.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. If Bruce Campbell's thing is that he's really good at playing himself, I could see why maybe that didn't translate to as many dramatic roles.
Yeah.
Have you seen somebody put on Twitter about Bruce Campbell taking on a role, and he actually, I think he tweeted out saying, "Can we talk to the person who was either directing it or the company?" But somebody said about him playing Hades in the live action Hercules.
Oh, that's right. He played Bruce Campbell.
I think. Oh no, okay.
Bruce Campbell. He played. Fucking what's his name? The Prince of Thebes. That was his character.
Michael, you're talking about the Hercules TV show. I think Horton's talking about the idea of
remake.
The Disney remake
of the Hercules movie, and having Bruce Campbell play Hades in that.
Well, that'd be badass.
Because I generally don't like the Disney remakes, but if Bruce Campbell's involved, I might give it a chance.
I'll watch that.
I'll make it a chance for him.
I'll watch his clips on YouTube.
But then, Michael, that's fair. That's fair. But then, Michael, you bring up an interesting point that Bruce Campbell was a major character in particular in Xena. Like he was Hercules a little too, but in Xena he played Atticus, the Prince of Thebes.
Yes, that was his name.
And he was. He was a very funny character in that back in the day.
Well, yeah, the side character.
That's why Lucy Lawless was in Ash vs. Evil Dead too. At least part of the reason.
That's how I was familiar with Bruce Campbell as a real little kid. I knew him from Xena and shit. I knew him. Atticus. Way before I ever saw
oh shit!
movies.
Amy Lou just raided us. Thank you so much for the raid. bringing those people in here. Welcome, everybody. If you haven't been here before, this is Rated M for Immaturity, and we are just playing some Evil Dead, talking some shit, talking horror movies, talking about Bruce Campbell, talking horror movies, horror movie trivia. So welcome in. Stay a while. It's lots of chat interaction, so feel free to talk or spectate, whatever you would rather do. But no, absolutely, Bruce Campbell. Yeah, as a little kid, I'm sure I probably knew him from that before I knew him from Evil Dead.
Yeah, and I mean the supporting characters, the side characters that Sam Raimi brought to Xena and Hercules, are some of like the more memorable.
Oh yeah,
Joxer and
Ted Raimi as Joxer the Mighty.
Yeah, like those comedic characters that were just like friends and family of Sam Raimi are just fucking make that show a lot of the time when it's not resting on Xena and Kevin Sorbo's shoulders and shit. It's on, I think, the comedy element of that is sort of delivering.
Hey, Amy. Hope you're doing well. What were you playing? What were you streaming? What were you doing on your stream today? I'm curious. Any actor you wondered why they didn't have a bigger career? Any actor that we've like seen and thought like, damn, why didn't they do more? Gary. Giving Horton shit.
Always.
You're playing Apex. Nice.
Cool. Of course I'm being quiet. People are talking.
And Horton, we interrupt each other, so you feel free to interrupt us as often as we interrupt each other.
I was going to say, I am a very, very polite British person.
We're rude Americans, so.
Yeah, but it's just get loud. I'm heard, I see.
Wonder why Jensen Ackles is a good answer. Well, I think he's
probably starting to now.
Yeah, I think he's starting to.
Supernatural.
I think he was actively trapped. Like Supernatural itself was some sort of hellish prison that he was stuck in.
Well, it's just like, I bet after you're on a show,
Henry the Red just fucking fist fighting skeletons.
That's fucking badass. I mean, I bet after being on a show for 15 years, and that's and
a show that was not good for 10 of those years.
But I bet you kind of, and that was the main thing he'd really done at that point. So I bet
he was in the My Bloody Valentine remake from 2007.
And Heath Austin is the Red Hood in that Batman cartoon.
That's true. He did the voice in that animated movie.
Yeah,
he was very good at that.
What else did he do? He was in another horror movie on DVD. It was awful, called Devour, I think.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
What was it called?
Devour.
Oh, Devour.
I don't recognize that. I don't know if I've seen that.
I wasn't a fan of it, to be fair. It's something to do with... I think it was the start of, when everything was kicking off, the whole you do something online kind of thing, but I could be wrong.
Those movies suck.
Yeah, that was not a great trend.
That's the worst, maybe, subgenre of horror movies is internet.
I mean, it's like I Know What You Did Last Summer on your computer.
Or Fear.com.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of I can't think of any of those movies.
I feel like fucking Unfriended might be the best fucking
and that's not saying a lot.
What was it? There was a movie called. See, I didn't like the movie, but I thought the visual effects for it was fucking great. It was Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour.
I
can't remember the fucking guy's name who's in it. He was the lead in The Girl Next Door.
Really? Oh, and the Jennifer Lopez horror movie?
No.
That was The Boy Next Door.
You're thinking, you're mixing that.
Alicia Cuthbert in The Girl Next Door.
Is that Alicia?
Yeah, all right.
But the guy...
I'll get to the bottom of this.
There's Google.
Where is that?
So the guy in Girl Next Door. So that would either be Timothy Olyphant or fucking
Emilio. No,
Emilio. Dude, Speed Racer, the main guy, right? Speed Racer.
Was he in Speed Racer too?
I think he played the
Emilio. Not Emilio Estevez.
No.
That's more.
I know what I'm trying to. I think it is Emilio something.
It is.
Was it Emilio Estevez? Am I right?
I don't remember.
Emil Hirsch.
Emil Hirsch.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't so Latin.
I didn't seem right, but I thought maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What's the movie called? This is going to bug me now. Yeah, Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour.
Was it like kind of like
I also thought that was that Winston Churchill movie that fucking
I think
Gary Oldman played.
I vaguely kind of. It sounds familiar. Is it the Darkest? Was it like an alien? Did it have anything to do with like an alien invasion? Was it?
It was really weird. So, like, I thought the movie was crap, but the visual effects for the alien fucking good. It was like they were basically invisible, and then when people got into fucking dust, and when you actually saw the aliens, they were like
It's
yellow
like
light.
Thanos snapping them.
Yellow light.
Yellow light.
Yeah,
Interesting. Huh? I'm trying to.
It's a shitty movie, but cool special effects.
Oh yeah, the special effects were great. My ex absolutely loved it, and I remember watching it with her and actually sitting down, and I just looked at her. I was like, "This is crap." Like, I really don't-
Pretty crap, but crap.
yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is it. There's some movie he did called Midnight in the Switchgrass.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, right.
Hold on a minute. Let's see if I can.
Well, the name of the movie is The Darkest Hour, right? Like, that is the title of the film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. 2011.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it's always weird that movies can just have the exact same title because when I looked that up, that Winston Churchill movie came up.
Yes.
And
Oh,
then,
funny. Ah, shit.
Okay, but I vaguely remember this movie coming out, but I did not see it.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it either. I remember listening to... Actually, I do think I remember listening to the Spill.com review of the movie back in the day, and that I remember them just crapping all over it.
Well, there's another stupid alien movie we saw back in the day.
Oh, are you talking about Skyline?
Skyline.
Skyline was terrible.
That was so stupid. I mean, it had
I
some.
remember that. Is that the one with Aaron Eckhart in?
There you are.
That could be Battle
think
for
so.
LA or something like that.
God, how many of these
that
bad
one.
alien movies?
There's been a lot of crap alien movies. Yeah.
Another portion of the map.
But Skyline, it had some slick special effects, some, and then.
But it was also just a terrible story.
The only interesting element of the plot is the post-credit sequence, right, where the dude gets sucked into
He,
the alien
turns
shit,
into an alien
and
or something.
He gets injected with alien DNA, so he becomes as badass as one of the aliens.
But that's only the very last 5 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, it's wow, where
was this the rest of
movie?
the? Yeah. Where is this the hour and a half of my wasted life that I was sitting here for before?
To be fair, the plot of District 9, doesn't he start to have alien DNA?
Yeah, he's just slowly turning into one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah,
I was always in the kind of minority of people who didn't like that movie though.
I think it's a decent science fiction film. I don't think it's great, but I think it's got a cool kind of apartheid element to the plot and story that the concept is there. I just don't
it's just
think
not
they
executed all the way.
delivered. But it was cool. I thought and I think we said back then the fact that such an asshole was the main character.
Right.
You never rooted for this guy, and he was always screwing people over.
Right, and it made it a little hard to get into the movie.
It would be if Littlefinger was the main character, POV character of Game of Thrones all the time.
Yeah, how much would you care if the biggest piece of shit was the character you were always following?
Yeah, it's it wouldn't feel good after a while. So
yeah, no, I hear that.
I think that was what it was.
Let's see. Carrie said the worst horror movie I've seen recently is Episode 50. Honestly, it was so awful I couldn't keep up with what was going on and who was who. Episode 50. Yeah, I don't think I've... Ooh, syringe.
The tool matters not. 'Tis the warrior that striketh the blow.
But I like the sword for Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, I was following you. Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm round the back of the house. For you. Oh, I see you. No, other way. Behind you. Oh, for the level.
It's very easy for us to get lost. There you are. I see you.
Trying to. Oh, yeah, there's the map piece.
The worst thing I've been watching has just been Rings of Power.
What?
So the worst horror movie I've been watching is Rings of Power.
Yeah, I have yet
Horrific in a way.
I have yet to see the 5th episode. So
Oh, it was putting me to sleep, man. I was fucking... Well, the 4th one was putting you to sleep.
Yeah.
Not to rant about that again, because I've already done it on the stream once. I just...
Besides that
Well,
little
man.
clip, though, of episode 5 I saw, which was hilarious, where Gandalf is freezing the water.
Well, we don't even
whatever.
know if it's Gandalf yet.
Well,
anyway.
whatever he is freezing the water, and that hobbit chick just, like, puts her hand into the magic freezing
Yeah,
ice.
the magic frozen ice, and then gets her hand frozen, and then freaks out. And I'm like, well, what the fuck did you think, dude?
It looks like her
Why
hand
would
is
you
gonna
touch
break
that?
off, like Sub-Zero stuff.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. What is this? It was a group of ghost investigators for a show going into this asylum thing to prove ghosts are real. That sounds like a lot of reality shows, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And there's another group who think that ghosts are real too, but they're another. But it's like, but they're looking at a different type of ghost. And then there's a guy in a kiln.
They microdose? Wait, what was
something.
the one part?
I don't know where you're seeing microdosing.
Oh, okay.
I think you're just thinking about microdosing.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then there's a random guy in a kilt or something like that, but I remember the guy in the kilt. Yeah, they were doing a reality.
That was,
So that actually was the plot. Interesting.
There was a ghost. Fuck. Brain's gone
ghost
fart, I
fuck.
do apologise.
There was a ghost fuck.
Wrong
That's my new
shit,
movie.
Sorry. There was a ghost hunting movie, so you know how everyone went around and did the whole ghost hunting thing for a while.
Yeah.
It was actually called Brave Encounters, and I thought it was going to be like a really shit movie. It ended up actually not being that bad.
Okay.
They made a second one, which was fucking awful. I caught the end of it, and it was just
Oh,
loads
shit.
of people in an attic, and some chick suddenly had her tits out, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Well, that's enough for
weird.
Michael, apparently.
That was just, that was
5 minutes, here I come.
Well, that's right.
About talking about Grave. Oh, okay.
Oh, talking about Grave Encounters. Oh, yeah.
That's how bad it was. I could picture bits and pieces, but not the plot. Interesting. That's episode 50. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these I don't even. I mean, as much as I'm a movie guy, I haven't even heard of some of these ones that we're
No.
talking about.
I will
Have
say
you seen the
some.
trailer for Smile?
For
Sorry.
most
Oh,
Smile.
Smile. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
I, you know, the
It's
most
weird. It made me think of that Truth or Dare. Do you remember? There's a crappy horror movie that came out a few years ago.
called Truth or Dare.
I think it was called Truth or Dare, where like some Mexican demon possessed these kids that were these college kids that were like partying in this ancient temple, and
As kids do.
and like they were playing a game of Truth or Dare, and the demon possessed one of them while they were playing the game, so it like made the dares come true or some bullshit like that. But every time this
Okay.
demon possessed somebody, it made them do this big Cheshire smile.
I don't remember that.
And,
but-
well, it was just so that's the so just because of that, and I saw that horror movie and did not like it.
Sure.
So I have a
made you
like,
put you off about
I have
Smile.
a bad stigma, but Smile looks like it's all about that premise. So
Well, I'll tell you what in Smile, what for me kind of made me want to see the movie is most of the trailer. I was kind of like, I don't know, this isn't totally grabbing me. But wait, what's that?
Was it the end of the trailer by any chance?
Yeah, the very last shot of the
that
trailer
part-
where
that
the
part
net
gets me.
swings down.
that part got me.
Yeah, that's what made me want to see it.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I don't know. And then that happened. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Because I gotta
That's
say,
cool.
yeah, the smiling horror bits were like I've seen kind of that visual in other horror movies.
Right,
before.
right. It didn't seem totally original,
But that fucking head, that
head
swinging thing,
net swing thing, yeah, that made me want
that,
to see
I'll
it.
see the movie just for that.
Just for that, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, and if they have more stuff like that, or or stuff crazier than
I mean, it'd be sad if that was the only good scene in the.
Yeah, I hope that's not like the best moment or something like that. So sometimes that happens, but the best moment in the trailer. See,
It happens. Yeah.
What else
see.
have I seen?
here's the main character. The second one was a massive jerk. It had Lucy Hale in it. Okay. First of all, you know what I was? Yeah, Smile. I guess Smile looks weird. I actually saw a thing where they had some random they're doing public marketing, but there was like a basketball game like in LA, like a big game, and there was like you could see somebody wearing a T-shirt that was like clearly said "Smile" on it, was clearly advertising the movie, who literally stood and smiled, not moving for like the entirety of the basketball game, like looking at like a camera from like across the basketball court.
Yeah.
And, like, that's pretty good marketing. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, ever since those scary clowns started standing around when like the first It movie came out or whatever, you know.
I thought people were doing that for fun.
Yeah, but didn't it happen to kind of coincide with leading up to the release of the first It movie?
I remember both of those things, but I have no recollection if they were actually at the same time or not. Yeah, they might have been.
Okay. Because I was about to say, like,
Ooh, fire.
that, I guess back when it was happening, I thought, like, oh, this is just part of some promotional thing.
I think it turned out to actually be a bunch of creepy people wearing clown costumes.
Oh, well,
That
that's...
happened all over the world as well, didn't it? We had a bunch of
Yeah, it
people
was all over.
in England do it as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I can't think of...
Yeah, it was just, I don't know what it was. They were just hiding around in like town centres at night or like down random ass roads, just stood there in full clown get up.
Oh, Jesus.
And Michael's guy, he doesn't like clowns.
Yeah. I gotta say, if I saw one of these guys fucking wearing clown costume out in the middle of the night, the first thing I'm gonna do is run up and knee you in the nuts, because I think that you deserve at this point if you're doing this shit. The first thing I'm going to assume is, oh, you're trying to kill me, so I gotta
kill you first.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Clowns can go right to hell.
See, I've never had the clown, like the fear of clowns that a lot of, but that actually is the most common phobia in the world.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's the most common phobia is of clowns.
Who would want
I've never quite understood it, though, myself. I've never really gotten
easy
it.
to understand. It's just like, well...
If you have the phobia, which you do, yeah, but if you don't...
It's not one of the phobias you can logically break down, whether somebody has an innate fear of it or not. But it's like, first go back to what the clown traditionally was. The clown... Well, if you're going to like a jester archetype, but I mean even just like the clowns for kids' birthday parties or whatever, what they started out.
Just for kids.
In America, you know,
Sure.
the creation of the clown is kids' birthday parties and shit like that.
Yeah, they're a jester for kids.
Yeah, so the most, why they're scary in the beginning is this is a creature, I'd still call it. But
I just can't see it that.
But
like
a
that.
fucking person that is like knocking on your door. One,
usually
it's definitely scary in the modern context. If anybody knocked on your door wearing a clown costume, it would be frightening. You have to admit that.
I would be concerned, but I would fight them.
Concern is yes. Thank you.
I'd be concerned. I will give you that. I would be concerned.
Thank you for that. That's all you need. Baseline concern. If a person knocks on your door and fills you with concern when you open the door, that's bad enough. All right. But yeah, even when they're considered a non-threat.
But I'd also be like, yeah, what's going on with this fucking idiot? Like that'd be my concern.
I'd be like,
It would be the vocalized thoughts of my concern.
I'd be like, let me come back real quick, close
Like
the
a
door,
gun.
lock it. Yeah, baseball bat. I was gonna say come down with, you know, and yeah, it's like, all right, this is just in case. I'm just holding it to the side just in case. Continue, good sir.
That demon that we were fighting on that level, that was the witch from the Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
In the pit.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to say.
But yeah, even when they're a trusted childhood, figure.
I have a China clown doll that winds up and plays music and taps its foot. My granddad gave it to me when I was little, and it's called Joey.
Can you please burn it? If it's of no sentimental value to you, can you?
I'm assuming that sounds like it's of sentimental value. I'm pretty sure.
If just for any reason it's not.
Carrie, do you find it creepy or do you find it cute and wholesome? I'm genuinely curious.
You can just step on it, you know.
No, it's what it says. She doesn't find it creepy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie.
So there you go. So not everybody has a fear of clowns. You do, of course.
I feel like I just laid out a very precise.
Oh, sure, but you can say anyone that you aren't expecting knocking on your door, dressed in any crazy costume, is going to be somewhat concerning.
That's not true. I would say.
Yes, it is.
Well, you're like kind of antisocial to begin with, but I feel like if the like any
unless you're the pizza guy, don't knock on my door, all right?
Yeah, I think any random person knocks on my door, I'm not immediately threatened. I'm like, okay, yeah, what
all right, well, okay, fine. Maybe that's just me. I'm just like, all right, what are you fucking?
It's all about how they present themselves, you know. Like if
that's as a clown.
If they seem like a creep, and all clowns are creeps, then you don't open the door.
All clowns are creeps.
You know, I feel like this is very common sense how I'm saying this, but but Joey is cute. I'll accept Joey is cute.
Keep it hidden for the sake of others. I'm not bothered at all. I cried when I smashed his feet by accident, but I fixed them now. But I don't play him for the risk of further damage. Yeah, fair enough. Well, okay, Horton. We got a whole third person in the chat with us here. Horton, what's your opinion on the clown debate?
You can't tell me they're not freaky, Horton.
I think they're freaky in some circumstance. I just don't think they're freaky in every circumstance.
Like, if they're trying to make a balloon animal, that's fine. If they're trying to honk their horn in my face, they can fuck off.
That seems more like a baseline level of rage than
there's some trauma there, man. There's some trauma.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah? Do you actually have, like, an experience with clowns?
No, I've got nothing wrong with clowns as long as they stay away from me. Like, if you start looking into it too much, like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons doesn't freak me out at all until you saw how big his fucking feet were.
Well, and Sideshow Bob is a sociopathic.
Now motherfuckers actually trying to kill.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of this is disproving my point. But I'm just saying, you know, like. But no, I'm
not saying I don't find clowns annoying.
Right.
It's just that they're more annoying than they are scary.
Well, a fair point Horton made, but at the same time, it's like if anybody was honking a horn in my face, I'd want to be
right. I mean, that.
No. I mean, clowns to me. Clowns to me, if anybody has to pretend or put on that much that they're being happy, and it just wigs me out.
That's true. That's another
almost
element.
Like the Stepford Wives. Like,
I don't like forced anything to do with humor.
I'm with that too. Like, I feel like everything about the clown represents like the worst kind of archetype of evil. I mean, but no, that's like a very good point too. Like, again, it goes to the child performer thing. If it's presenting itself as something so wholesome, and it's like kind of what's the agenda there, you know, in the first place.
I really wonder how many people actually had the fear of clowns before it came out, before the book it even existed. How many people had this fear? Because I feel like that gave a lot of people the fear to begin with.
Even going back to the 30s, I think you could go back to
John Wayne Gacy.
That's true.
Big time.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
He was like the astronaut for clowns because he kind of like broke.
The astronaut for clowns.
Broke the threshold for them.
He broke the glass ceiling for clowns.
I didn't realize they were an oppressed minority before
I mean, maybe before that.
Well, actually, to some degree, clowns have always been an oppressed minority because...
Well, if you have anything to say about
it. No, like, even when they were more innocent... Like, part of why a lot of bums would be clowns, you know, and shit like that. Like,
cannibal bums.
Hobos, like, that would go from train car to train car in the Americas and, like, the Great Depression and stuff. A lot of them would, I don't know if they were doing it for work, but I know there's the idea of the hobo wearing, like, the kind of the clown makeup and stuff.
Sure.
And so... Even
also, this level we're walking around is the version of the forest that's from the remake, because you've got that kind of sunset aspect to it instead of fully nighttime.
I like the sunset.
And if you trigger the like final part of a level and actually get to like the book at the end, the blood rain will start coming down out of the sky in the game.
Damn, that's fucking cool.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I just want to describe that because it's cool and it's happening on screen.
What the fuck was that? So, I mean, I would think, though, that probably part of that is, like, for some kind of work or some money at some times, hobos might have done the clown gig.
Yeah, right, sure, totally.
Kids' parties, whatever.
Yeah.
But what Horton just said really speaks to that underlying truth, though, about clown. Like, it's like, no matter what, it's either, like, a sad, drunk bum that is pretending to put on this fake smile for his children, but you know deep down he's, like, crying and depressed underneath and shit. So it's like, it's just, it's sad because it's like, suggests mental illness in the first place, I think, the clown. And,
Well, doesn't that make you feel bad for him more than be afraid of him?
well, that's, then most of the time those clowns weren't smiling. Like when it was the old sad hobo wearing the clown makeup, there's a lot of sad, frowning clowns imagery from that decade and stuff that we're
absolutely.
But it's then when the clown actually puts on the smile. This suggests two things.
I think you're doing like a clinical psychological breakdown.
This suggests either that they permanently put on this smile no matter what it's not a true reflection of what's going on underneath, therefore you can never truly know what's going on behind this person's brain,
right, in the mind of clown.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it's for the reason that they actually are a sad person, and I mean it still to me suggests like the person needs help, and I probably shouldn't be performing for children, making balloon animals and
shouldn't
shit.
be clowning around.
Yeah, right. Is that where that comes from?
It might be where that term comes from.
I bet it is.
A lot of terms, I mean, everything's got some origin, right? Some weird origin. Like, even, I was actually just the other day reading about the term hobo, and it's the original, I forget exactly what the original, etymology is, but it's something like moving bohemian.
Really?
It's like what hobo is short for. It's like nomadic bohemian.
Oh, okay.
So the bow in hobo is actually referencing the word bohemian.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
You're lucky that I can't drive or I'd be your house to punch you. What did Horton do? I missed that.
Right, just fucking rude, Carrie. Rude.
I don't know where anyone else is. I'm just wandering around out here.
I'm in a tunnel with another Ash. That's all I can. Yeah.
2 ashes, 1 tunnel.
Oh no. Oh god, no.
First, I thought you said with another ass instead of another Ash. So I thought.
Well, that would be concerning.
So I'm just down here clowning around with another ass. That's what I heard at first.
Let's see. I'm gonna hide.
Oh yeah, you gotta
hide the gnome coloring book under this cushion over here, and then I can pull it out on the stream when Alex is least expecting it.
I was gonna say, have you guys done this in the past? Do you give him the gift ahead of time, or do you do it?
Oh, we always give him the gnome on stream. So we've actually got a number of streams saved to YouTube that include Alex getting his gnomes.
You should make a little playlist of all the ones featuring that.
Just like a short clip of compilation of Alex getting gnomes.
That's how you can get you guys out there on YouTube more. Put out clips of talking about how much Alex sucks gnome dick and stuff like that.
You need to see if you can find a gnome dominatrix sort of adult coloring book for him. I think that'd be really up his street. Gnome BDSM.
No BDSM.
BDSMG.
The next frontier.
The final frontier.
The next generation.
Alright,
talking of horror movies.
I need to use the bathroom ever so briefly. I will be right back.
I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm going to just let Michael just chaotically try.
I think I just died.
No, you got possessed. So somebody has to beat the demon out of you now.
Alright, so Horton, can you beat the demon out of me?
Yeah, someone has to come along and do it.
Thanks, man.
I'll be right back.
But what were you saying, Horton, about a horror movie?
They dropped a trailer for a new Hellraiser.
Yes, I've heard about that. Like it's a girl Hellraiser now, a girl Pinhead. Or
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't seen
Yeah,
the
female Pinhead.
Did it look good or?
I find it really hard to tell with horror movie trailers because
Yeah,
you can
right.
see some that are really good and then they end up being absolutely shit.
Okay.
Team is
But I
waiting for the
know,
Yeah,
it looks
that's true.
good.
stricken
Yeah.
Looks more refined, though.
Refined. Interesting.
Well, can you really? Yeah, I know what I mean. I'm bad with words.
No. I mean, that's an interesting. I would just like. I'm curious. Is it like more kind of like polished special effects? Or
It
that
looks
kind
a
of
lot.
thing?
Yeah, the trailer itself, like just generally the setting, the lighting was a lot darker.
Oh, okay.
So you know, obviously, like it's hard to explain. I'm not very good at explaining anything, so I do apologise.
No,
but
that's absolutely fine.
the puzzle as well. Oh, the puzzle's changed.
Really? Oh, it's not like a traditional puzzle box kind of now?
So I think, by the looks of things, they do have the traditional puzzle box in there, but they mention about all the different configurations, and the box actually changes shape in this.
Oh, shit.
So as like one of its configurations would be a different shape that you then have to solve, and then you go on to like another configuration.
Yeah.
So yeah, looks interesting. At
I'll
least.
check it out.
All right, what was the movie?
Horton was saying that there's a trailer for a new Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, it's coming out on Hulu, I believe.
Oh, like the
Yes.
last Predator?
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
did? Oh, okay. Interesting. I guess they're trying to get it opt into the horror market a little bit or something.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly, why not?
Because those are two big kind of horror IPs for Hulu.
Predator, yeah,
So-
I guess Predator count. Yeah, Predator count. I guess I always think of it as more of an action movie than a sci-fi
It's like
action.
an action
but
sci-fi thriller. It's
yeah,
It's a
maybe
need to watch
thriller
one.
more than. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, not that it's a high bar, but I do think it's the second best Predator movie.
yeah.
I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it, you know, the original is still, like, you know, definitely I think better, but,
It's
you know.
amazing how much better the character work is in a 80s, you know,
Right.
action movie, fucking versus a movie today. But you know, I feel
But
like
it is still the second best one. I mean, it
Oh, yeah.
still outclasses,
Oh, yeah.
you know, any of the other Predator sequels that they've done.
I mean, it's got my second. I would say it's like my second favorite design for Predator.
Yeah.
Because it's finally they did something different.
Right, it actually looks different because we went to a different time period, and I also I will see how if this happens, but I do also really like the suggestion that people have made of like, well, if you're going to do more Predator movies, what if every movie took place in a completely different historical period? Like, how cool would a movie where you actually had samurai fighting a Predator?
No,
like that would be
That would be
badass.
cool.
I'd be a little afraid of them going down that Assassin's Creed route.
Well, then it's like, how many do you do?
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like you take Prey and then you maybe do 2 more and make it a trilogy of like Predator historical movies and just do 3. Like you could do this Native American one, you do maybe Samurai,
Yeah.
pick like one other place and then stop there. Just do 3. Of course,
see-
they wouldn't stop there, but
No. Yeah, I want to see more like Mayan stuff. Inca.
Yeah,
you
that'd
know,
be cool.
You know what I mean?
oh,
'Cause
just
their
in general, yeah.
weapons, yeah, because their weapons was like it looked like a club, didn't it? But it had like the flint edges, or like
Yeah.
the sharp edges embedded in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that could be a cool setting for Predator. I would like to see I've been saying Assassin's Creed should do a game set in either Aztec, Incan, or Mayan setting for a long time because that's a fucking badass setting and no one ever does anything
Like,
with
and a
it.
lot of their gods are just great, like visuals for like nightmare fuel.
Oh yeah, like
Stuff
Quetzalcoatl, like some of those monsters.
That any of their death gods are gonna be some badass amalgam of color and
Yeah.
skulls and robes.
Hell yeah, very
Oh,
cool mythology. Like maybe at some point that'll be a video game trend or something like Mesoamerican settings. Because in the next few years we're getting a lot of like, Japanese and like Chinese mythology. Even a Korean one that I saw. Like they're getting a lot of Eastern settings, which is it's funny actually because Ghost of Tsushima came out. it was this amazing, like,
This is
historical.
Assassin's Creed. You're saying?
Oh, I'm just saying in general, in like video games,
Oh.
industry wide, there's a lot of Eastern settings coming up in the next few years. And it's funny because Ghost of Tsushima came out and was this really amazing historical Japanese samurai game, right? And then, but that was made by Sucker Punch. That's an American studio. It's the same studio that made the infamous games, or Sly Cooper even back on the PS2.
Yeah.
And And then I actually read a quote from a Japanese game developer who said that, like, yeah, we were all kind of embarrassed over here that an American team did such a good job with this, and like none of us are making like games set in Japan. And so there's like, because of Ghost of Tsushima, this American-made but set in Japan game now. Japanese game developers are like, well, shit, we should make games about Japan.
Could you imagine? That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're getting a bunch of them in the near future, and a lot of them look really cool, like The Rise of Ronin. That's one that just got announced. It's set in
yes, you sent me that, didn't you?
Yes, I did, I think. It's set in the late 1800s, when not Chandler from Friends, but the naval officer, Matthew Perry, which really was his name, settled an American colony on, like, the coast of Japan. So you've got this, like, American shanty town, and then across a bridge, and then a feudal Japanese town. And you've got, like, samurai, but they also have, like, muskets from the American soldiers that they're, like, taking weapons from. And it's a really, really cool setting for a video game. Then you've got Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is a Chinese set mythology game based off a Chinese novel from the 14th century called The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And then you have Black Myth Wukong, right? That's doing the Monkey King mythology, which I can't fucking wait for. I think that looks so goddamn cool.
That's going to be amazing.
God, where's the gap between the fence here? I can't even find my way out of this area.
Where are you? Over this way?
Behind the fence. I don't even know.
I've been possessed.
Uh-oh. And both of the other two are dead.
Go beat the demon out of them.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm currently possessed and running across the lake.
Oh, wait, I see you.
That sounds like a
if you go
weird...
to your...
I just gotta find a way out of this fucking fenced-in area that I'm trapped in. There we go. Okay. Now I can
You
chase
just
after
ran
you.
me to the people.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like a weird, dirty saying, like, go beat the demon out of him, or whatever.
It does sound dirty. It does. It absolutely sounds dirty. Can you fuck off? Fuck off, monsters. Oh, and then let's see. There's a couple chat here. I'm pretty sure one of the Aztec gods was born from a feather going up a woman's reproductive system. Yeah, I mean, that's... In Norse mythology, there's a giant that tries to kill Thor and Loki at one point by peeing in the valley that they're traveling in, and because it's a giant, it, like, fills the entire valley up, and she, like, tries to drown them. Mythology is weird. Yeah. Mythology is weird. So, did you hear about Wolverine being in Deadpool 3? Is that like a
movie?
Is that an official announcement, or is that just speculation?
What?
It would be cool. I mean, it would make sense that, to get Hugh Jackman Wolverine for
if he was going to do it one more time, Deadpool 3 would probably be the one movie I could see him doing it in. Yeah. But is that like a confirmed thing, or is that just speculation? Let's see where.
Hard to know these days.
Yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I also kind of just don't care about Marvel anymore too. Oh, it's confirmed. Is it confirmed? Is it Hugh Jackman, or is it? Oh wow, okay, that must have happened while we were streaming, and then just a little bit ago. Do we know if it's Hugh Jackman, or if it's just like the character will be in it, but we don't know who will be playing him? Oh no, I'm possessed.
God, I hope it's Hugh.
Yeah. Gotta be. I mean, well, at least if they're...
I think I can see... I don't think he'd come back in an indefinite way, but I can see him doing, like, a single one-off appearance,
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like since there's sort of an interplay between...
the actors,
Wolverine and...
In the teaser, Ryan asked Hugh if he wanted to play him one more time, and he said yes. So it is going to be huge. So Hugh Jackman will be in Deadpool 3. So Deadpool 3 also being able to... take advantage of, basically any, like, whatever they want in the Marvel Universe, too. So that could be cool.
That's one Marvel movie I'm excited about.
Because I'm not excited about much anymore with Marvel, but that could be cool. That could be cool. I will.
It would be interesting though, because for sure, like Deadpool 3 would be the
Group has
first
browsed the
Disney
lost pages of the
Deadpool.
They've said they said Deadpool will stay R.
No, I'm not worried about that, but it would be
Hold your ground.
that would make it interesting still, because like if Hugh Jackman is the Wolverine in that movie, but he's then kind of technically the first MCU Wolverine,
Right.
as well, and then it's like, oh, does this, I don't know, create competition or what for like the
When
guy
they-
they actually bring in as their version of Wolverine?
Right.
I mean, granted, they've got like the Tom Holland Spider-Man now,
Yeah.
and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Right, they've
side by
got stuff
side.
coexisting, so I mean, it's not too crazy to.
I feel like that's like one of the only benefits I can think of the multiverse move there is it kind of allows more playfulness with that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I do think people would have been a little like, oh, well, Hugh Jackman is the Wolverine then.
Yeah, why would you have another
Marvel
actor?
movies. Right.
Right. I mean, I still think that, as good as Hugh Jackman is, it would be nice to get another actor playing Wolverine that is short and ugly and, fits the comic character a bit more. Because Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is a tall, suave, attractive man. Like in Wolverine, the comic book character
Who
is an
still
ugly
embodies the
asshole.
spirit of
No.
Wolverine.
And that's why I still like him, is because he does embody the spirit very well. He still captures the character.
Yeah.
But just visually, it would be cool if they got somebody that was like actually kind of ugly
Yeah.
to play the character.
I want like a 5-foot gruff shit
Little
breakout
gargoyle.
to play fucking.
Yeah, somebody that's unbelievably muscular, but that's
Yeah.
like only 5, like the height of Danny DeVito.
Yeah, probably
Like ugly looking. I carried said Danny DeVito right after I said it too. Fucking hell yeah. Just Danny DeVito. Just have Danny DeVito do it.
like yeah.
He's got the hair for it.
Yeah.
He does have the hair.
Yeah, he does.
To be honest, I don't know about casting for Wolverine.
I mean, I don't know about
Otherwise-
the acting part of it, but like physique-wise, like some kind of short, stocky, like MMA.
I just can't think of anybody specific that
Right,
I
that kind of.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know people have been talking about wanting Daniel Radcliffe to do it.
I think he's too tall and attractive, honestly. I think he's too good looking.
There's a lot of things that make me not be able to see Harry Potter, but
I mean, I think he's proved himself as
No,
a
no,
really
I-
good actor. I just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think he fits that
I
character.
give
really.
Daniel Radcliffe a chance in movies and shit, but it's just like I do feel he's one of those actors where the Harry Potter thing is always going to be with him. Like
Maybe, yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
for sure. I can see that. I just think, but specifically with Wolverine, Daniel Radcliffe is only
he's
5'5",
a shorter guy.
but he's not ugly enough. I don't think.
He's not. Okay.
I'm genuinely. I want whoever plays Wolverine to be unpleasant to look at. Like I really do. Like he's ugly in the comics.
Just like he's like supposed to have a rough, almost like
Ugly.
like a caveman almost.
Like a gargoyle.
I'll go caveman. That's where I'm going. A gargoyle. What the fuck?
I think he should be like fugly.
Yeah, like a bit. I get it.
Fugly.
Fugly. Yeah.
Fucking ugly's worse than ugly.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. How about Grugly? Like
Grugly. What's Grugly mean?
Rough, ugly. That's
Rough and
good.
ugly. All right, I can take that.
Where he would maybe be attractive to a woman because he's got like a masculine face thing going on, but
Right, but he's also just not.
you know,
But he just can't be pretty. Like he
Yeah.
just shouldn't be pretty.
there is a very specific kind of face in person you like think of when you think of Wolverine.
Yeah, at least the comic character.
Yeah,
for sure.
and so it is just. I do think it'll be quite a little bit hard to find a person who completely
Embodies that
embodies
totally.
that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That is going to be difficult.
Like,
See,
yeah.
what was I think it's one of those roles that have had the same actor for so long. It's weird thinking of someone else doing it. That's true for sure. I mean, he's been Wolverine forever. I mean, the only live action Wolverine we've ever had. So I mean, he definitely is cemented in the mind of the pop culture. See, Emil Hirsch is 5'5", and Josh Hutcherson is 5'5".
I don't want Josh Hutcherson. It's like
I'm trying to think of who that even is, to be completely
Josh
honest.
Hutcherson is like one of the like boyfriends in like the Hunger Games. Right?
Oh hell no!
Oh,
all I need to know.
Wasn't he Percy Jackson as well?
Was he?
Is that Josh Hutcherson?
He's that type of dude. Yeah.
He's that type of dude. I don't even know. It's from Hunger. He's the blonde one from. I never watched any of the Hunger Games. To be honest,
he's a pretty boy actor.
Okay, well I don't want him then. I don't want anyone pretty.
I'm still rolling with Danny DeVito.
Was
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I say Danny DeVito.
I'll pick Danny.
I'll take Danny DeVito.
More people, yeah.
It's like I'm a Wolverine man. I eat trash.
He climbs out of a couch and
Yeah, he cuts his way out of a couch with the claws. He cuts his way out of a couch.
he's just naked.
Yeah, he's just naked fat Wolverine.
He looks like a little Pikachu more than he's a fucking wolf.
Pikachu that can bite your face off.
Dude, I like this. I feel like this DeVito casting.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's all I want.
Fuck, because fucking. What was I gonna say a second ago?
Logan Lerman isn't the guy. Logan Lerman was the guy in Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
I thought he was in that movie Bullet Train.
I haven't seen that yet.
No, I didn't think it was that great, to be honest. I thought it was just okay. But the character Logan Lerman plays, I did not recognize him as Logan Lerman, and I swear to God, I thought that was actually just Post Malone in the movie. And then it was like,
a lot of face tattoos and shit?
He's got face tattoos and kind of the beard and the hair and the braid. Like, he looked like Post Malone, I swear to God.
We'll know who will play Post Malone in a movie.
Logan Lerman as Post Malone. Scott Caan. Scott Caan. Scott Caan. Yeah, I might have to pull up a picture. I don't recognize that name. At least not off the top of my head. Alright, we all heading towards the dagger. Is that what we're doing?
Oh. Pulled up Scott Caan from Dateline.
No, not him.
I've got to get to the dagger.
Collection of the Kandarian dagger has begun.
Oh, okay.
We've activated it.
Represents a grave threat.
I've seen this guy before.
Prepared to do battle.
Safe will probably say this guy is too handsome still, I'd imagine, to play Wolverine, but
I mean, you could ugly someone up with like makeup and stuff. So I guess the actor doesn't have to be.
He's got a big
ugly,
forehead, maybe like it kind of goes with it well.
Big forehead. Like, is there enough space to like rent it out for Katrina victims to hang out at?
Damn, solid burn. Yeah.
That was mean. I'm not sorry.
I mean, it's America, you know.
What does that mean? Is that we should be mean? Is that the idea?
But fucking. Yeah, no, I'm still like a lot.
You didn't have to show me what he looked like, though.
Oh, did I not?
No,
I thought
you
could kind of see.
I didn't.
Like that.
Yeah, I like it. I do feel like he might be a little too handsome, but at the same time, I will give that you could ugly someone up with makeup too. So I will say that.
I had never.
Be back in a minute.
No, it's not called.
No worries.
Letterkenny, you know Letterkenny?
Letterkenny, I know it, but I haven't actually seen a lot of it.
I guess the sort of main male character in the show. It's a whole Canadian show set in Canada, like with Canadian white trash.
Right, right.
And the sort of main guy is sort of this bruiser type. Canadian
is it anything like the Trailer Park Boys?
It's got the same kind of sensibility and comedy, I'd say, as the Trailer Park Boys. So, like, I've only seen a couple episodes of it. My girlfriend wanted me to watch it, and I'm like, I don't feel like getting into a whole other series right now. So, like, I only watched a couple episodes of it. But a lot of people say him for Wolverine a lot because this guy's straight Canadian. He's got kind of this bruiser, loner kind of psyche going on.
What's the actor's name?
The Letterkenny show. I don't know by name. Let's see.
Oh shit. Horton is possessed. Oh, now I'm possessed. Uh-oh. Alright, cool.
Okay. Like I would say, in these pictures, he seems too good looking and shit, but this is like kind of how he like kind of frowns his face a lot in the fucking Letterkenny show, and I feel
can
like
see that. He's got
might
kind
be
of a caveman eyebrow thing. going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, and that's again what I'm mainly looking for. Is like kind of a short, stocky caveman sort of.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I think a perfect description of what Wolverine should be like—a short, stocky caveman.
Or Danny DeVito, you know.
I mean, I think Danny DeVito is very much a short, stocky caveman.
Yeah, that's true.
He just happens to also waddle.
I mean, I'll watch Danny DeVito on fucking anything, you know.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, if they make that live-action Hercules, they should get him to reprise his role as the satyr.
I still think they should have painted him orange as the and actually had him play the Lorax.
Yeah. No, that would have been...
I'm the Lorax!
I'll shoo all your heads off, you little kids.
Yeah, I'll shoo all your heads off.
Cut down this forest.
Christopher Maloney was younger. You think he'd make a good
I
Wolverine?
can see it.
I can see that, yeah.
Christopher Maloney is kind of a badass.
I can totally, I actually totally could buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're one step closer to defeating the spirits of the book.
But, what was I gonna say? Oh, well,
yeah, I
a
forgot
while
that
ago, we were talking about that MCU shit. Like, if Hugh Jackman was the first MCU Wolverine, it would be a little disappointing kind of going forward to the next person. You know?
Right, because whoever, it's like you have Hugh Jackman, and then whoever comes after him is like, well, they're not Hugh Jackman. So.
Yeah. Like, at least...
It's almost, I feel, like, inevitably going to feel just a little unfair to whoever that actor is, because they will be judged based on Hugh Jackman.
Well, it's interesting, you know, like Tom Holland, I mean, we all accept him as...
There was a lot of time and a really terrible Spider-Man in between, though.
There are a couple of really terrible Spider-Man movies in between.
Right, so that was way more easy to go, hey, let's get a new fucking Spider-Man in here.
But what I'm saying is, like, now that they even have the other actors as part of it, it's like, we still see Tom Holland as the MCU Spider-Man.
True.
It's just, like, then it's also, like...
But he also...
But then I'm also like, Tobey Maguire's still the better one. But
I agree.
But, you know.
Right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. You're good, dude. I think we got the daggers, so now we just have to get to the dark ones, and we might actually win a match for the first time today.
Oh,
I think this might be the one.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, that's cool.
I mean, this is the first time
crossed.
we've gotten to the final part of the stage, so.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good demons today, though. So
Yeah, no, the people who we've been playing against have been kicking our ass.
oh, mate, that Elagos, right? I forgot to say, he not only did he kick our asses, but as soon as I spawned in, I literally went into one house, came out, and he was already on me.
Oh God, yeah. That happened to me too. I was just like searching around for shit, like almost at the beginning, and he just immediately was there.
Yeah.
Wow, he built up so much power so quickly. I feel like you might have been like a higher level than like you almost shouldn't have been matched up with us.
I feel like the
What's
shirt I
match?
wore complements well the kind of shirt you're wearing on this.
Oh yeah, a little bit, yeah. Someone, oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Beat me, thank you.
Alright, it's probably good. Now you guys gotta hit me. Alright, cool.
Oh, no, we got
Alright, now we gotta hit
him.
the other guy.
Oh, nice.
They all got possessed
Around
for a
the
second there.
possession.
Alright, let's go beat these dark ones. I think with this win, that'll probably call this stream for today.
Yeah, that's fair, man.
Well, then it'll be it's almost 5, and then we'll have a little time in between, and then we'll have another stream. So, and Horton, we will be playing our Gnomes, Cannibalism, and Politics show. We'll be starting God of War today. So,
Oh shit.
yeah, because one of the co-hosts, Ulysses, doesn't have a lot of specific like experience of it in the
The
story.
first one?
In 2018,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh shit. And then the dark ones actually show up like from the show,
Oh,
and then
right.
you have to. That's like the last part of the human. If you're playing as the humans, you have to then defeat them in like a final boss type thing, and then that's how the humans win the multiplayer match.
Huh.
Oh, no, I'm down.
Oh shit.
They
But,
spawned so many of those little guys, and they were taking a beating.
Shit. I think they're.
But
Someone's
if,
bringing me back.
if what I hear about them, maybe that one dude they're maybe going to cast as Cyclops in these MCU movies. That'd
Oh
be cool.
yeah, that's good casting.
That
What's his
guy
name
from,
again?
Scream Queens and shit.
Yeah, he's written Scream Queens, and he was in Top Gun.
Yeah. His name's like Scott Glenn or
Scott
something
Glenn,
like
I think.
that.
Yeah, that guy. I think he'd be a great Cyclops.
He'd be
I think
cool.
that'd be great.
Especially if the one thing I just know that already sucks about the MCU doing X-Men before they even do it that I know is that like they're not even really going to go into the history and like their trajectory.
It's gonna skip. Yeah, it's gonna skip ahead.
So much.
So, yeah, that's
Like,
true.
To establish fucking Scott as that teenage leader,
Right.
and then to go from fucking having dated Jean Grey to then dating Emma Queen, like
Emma Queen.
Emma Frost, sorry. And then so it's like already a darkening of his path, like the kind of person
Right.
that he chooses to spend his time with.
Right. No, absolutely.
And then fucking to go down that like just mutant rebel fucking resistance.
I don't.
path.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the saddest thing is that I don't think we'll get like the great Cyclops character arc that we have in the comics.
I know.
I don't foresee that really
It's like
happening.
he goes from such a kind of more optimistic Superman.
He's kind of he's almost starts out as the
America.
Captain America of
Yeah.
the X-Men, and he's become the new Magneto over time.
Magneto was following him.
Yeah,
for a
Magneto
while.
was like secondhand to Cyclops.
He's like, oh, I like your vision. I'm gonna hand it over. Like, yeah, that shit was bad. I just like that darkness to the character and
Oh, we're so close too.
the sort of range that Scott Glenn would get to play. I think within that
Sure.
would be so awesome.
I would love to see
But
it.
like I said, we're not going.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Was Cyclops a cock in the X-Men movies? Kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if for nothing else, he was a cuck in terms of screen time.
Yes.
Like even if not like literally in the traditional sense of the word, he was a screen time cuck because he was barely in those movies.
Yeah, he was getting cock blocked by Wolverine and the screen time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was just getting cock blocked by the director. I mean,
yeah. Although knowing that was Bryan Singer, was that like literal in any sort of?
well, I mean, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
But fucking no, like it's too bad because I think James Marsters was
James Marsters. Marsters is the guy that played Spike.
Okay, I always get mixed up.
Yeah, they're very, very similar names.
But Marsden, yeah, like there is something about him that perfectly embodies Cyclops.
He did.
Like,
He did feel like the character. It's just that they didn't let him fucking do
like
anything.
that sort of put upon quality that he got through, that he had to get through as this boyfriend that his girlfriend is mostly hanging out with Wolverine and most of the
Right.
movies, Like he does that put upon feeling of like, oh, I sense a deep resentment within this guy.
Yeah.
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 Like, that's in Cyclops, and that totally
Yeah.
comes to the forefront.
He does. Yeah, he does capture that aspect of the character.
Well, and then
Right.
I think when given the opportunity, he does. I don't know if we ever see him so much in the leader role. A little bit.
Yeah, not a little. I think mostly in that first movie.
Yeah, so if we knew that, like, I think he could have done the leader bit all right.
I think James Marsden was good casting. I just don't think he got the opportunity to really do a whole hell of a lot. I mean, and that's not his fault at all.
No.
Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows? I've never really watched the show, but I loved the movie. And I've been meaning to watch the show.
I
just
watched
haven't.
some episodes of the show.
I love that movie though. I think that movie is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I love
Horton, have you ever seen that?
I haven't. It's on my to-watch list.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Someone said the actor from that show would make a good
Oh, Beast.
Beast. Okay, I'll have to go look. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
No,
look at him.
Jermaine Clemens was in the fucking movie.
Jermaine Clement. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I love Jermaine Clement, but I don't think he would be a great Beast. He was already in a Marvel property though, in Legion. He played Oliver, right? He's Oliver. He's one of the. He was another mutant.
Oh, for sure.
He's another psychic mutant. Matt Berry is the guy's name.
Matt
Berry.
Berry. Matt Berry's hilarious.
Well, this Yeah, already he's kind of like a not blue version of Beast.
Oh shit! Yeah, that guy looks like he'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah!
like that choice.
Hell yeah! Horton, are you still there, or did it cut out? No, it cut out, didn't it?
Huh?
All right. Well, I do think that is a pretty good spot to end the stream on. Honestly, he's from It Crowd 2, the original British version. That I have not seen.
From IT Crowd.
IT Crowd. I don't.
That's what.
It Crowd sounds like the clown.
Right.
And then doing
the crowd of clowns.
But Pennywise doing IT work.
I can see that.
Oh yeah, this is a great stream. Horton, thank you for being here and being an awesome co-host.
Yeah, it was
I appreciate you. Anyone in the chat.
In person.
Yeah, and also, first time you two have been on the stream together too. But yeah, anyone in the chat that's watching this now or later, go check out Horton Here's What. That's an awesome channel. He's doing his own awesome streams over there. Spread the love. Go follow him. Original is great, no offense, but the Americans fucked it when they tried to remake it. I mean, I believe that. That happens a lot. I believe that the American version probably sucks. But hell yeah, no, thank you for being here, Horton. Let's see if there's anybody currently streaming we can raid. And then, of course, if anyone would like to come back and hang out with us later, we will be playing God of War 2018 starting in about exactly an hour and a half from right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Sarah's playing Dark Souls. Let's raid Sarah. Oh, cool. Thank you, Afternoon Tune. Yeah, he's an awesome dude. He's also very good at engaging with chat too. So I'm sure you would enjoy his shows. Yeah, we're gonna go raid Say Hello, Sarah. If everyone wants to go say hello to Sarah, is playing Dark Souls Remastered. Maybe passed out by then as I'm overtired right now, but have a good second stream. Hey, no worries, Carrie. I hope you have a good rest of your night and get some rest.
For sure.
And yeah, that was almost a 3-hour stream. We will try and make this a more regular thing on Tuesdays too. I feel like either something comes up or the internet's not working a lot, and me and Horton we try and do it each Tuesday, and then
right.
something happens and it doesn't. But we are trying to do it more frequently. But that is across the pond for this week.